Well, the Valley has done the impossible. Finally, a non-toxic episode. Zach is officially the number one guy in the group, and Kristen's getting married. Welcome to Showmance, guys, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth.
Shows as shallow as the space needed in my head to hold the amount of brain cells I'm working with today.
Oh, I love that one. It's
Yeah.
a you specific, not a show specific.
I mean, I couldn't even get to the show. I was just dealing with my own brain fog today.
My
But
own
that's because we
self.
had a great fourth.
Yeah, so
It was
fun.
so fun.
Wait, guys, big announcement. Mark went to Sinospia.
You can't believe.
I partied with dead people.
And what did you think?
It was fun. I had a good time. We went and saw Top Gun and some fireworks. Maybe the finale of the fireworks show got delayed for some reason until we were walking out and then exploded right over all of our heads.
Yeah, and
No
all
biggie.
the like pieces came down,
There's
and
a
it was
piece of ash in your
very
hair.
reminiscent
Yeah.
of Chernobyl.
Because Natalie was
No,
at
if anybody
Chernobyl.
watched that HBO series they did called Chernobyl, there's this scene where like the whole thing is happening and there's these people that are all kind of standing outside their homes and they notice all these things are coming down and it kind of it seems like snow. And so all the families are out there like, oh, like, it was a real dark scene. In retrospect, to know it was Chernobyl.
It wasn't snow.
No, it wasn't.
No.
And that's what that little thing felt like. But Harris was there, and that was his first time he ever saw Top Gun.
Yeah. Lucky.
Yeah.
I mean,
To be
could
the
you
first time, to have the first time to see Top Gun now, like so great.
and like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
no,
of
but
that,
it was
yeah.
fun. It was a lot. I don't know why you guys never told me how fun it would be. Like these guys never tell. They're always like, "Ooh, stuff is so boring," and I'm kind of a yes guy. Like I'll do anything. I'm up for all
My
kinds of
God.
partying.
Yeah.
What?
I'm a
Nah,
yes guy.
it was it was fun. We got a good spot.
Yeah.
Nat and Mike went early, put out tarp out. We had an XL section.
Yeah. It was taking up too much
did
space,
take a little
probably.
too much
And
space.
I also didn't realize, I thought that we just like got super lucky. I'm like, oh, no one's claimed this space. Well, it was the space for the chairs.
But like I don't. What? So we didn't have like the people next to us didn't have chairs.
They didn't?
No, there was a bunch of people over here that didn't have chairs, and I don't think it's like, oh, chairs only.
Yeah.
It's
No,
more
it's-
of a warning, like, hey, this is where people with chairs go. So if you don't have a chair, don't sit here because someone's going to be in
I
a
think that's what
chair
it is,
right
too.
in front of
No,
you.
listen, it is, but there's a 10 times more space for the people that are just going to be on blankets, like sitting or laying down. And there were definitely chairs overflowing into the street.
I see.
And also
That was rude of you then. Yes,
it was,
to take that
but like
spot.
we really didn't notice it until it was like kind of too far in the game to like really do anything about
Yeah,
it.
we were cozy.
But I
Oh.
did think about people that are working there all the time. They're probably like, there's one every time. The asshole that ruins it for everyone.
There's this one. It was this one. Listen, there was a Target nearby. If I'd have known, I'd have ran down and got some chairs. Because by about, I'd say the second act of the movie, I was like, oh God, I'm a little old for sitting on the grass for 5 hours.
Have another gummy. That's what I say.
Somebody
Yep.
had to drive us home.
yeah, thanks, Uncle
Yeah.
Mark.
But it was a good time. It was fun. I walked around, saw some dead people stuff.
Yeah.
The
Also
DJ.
saw a great DJ.
The
It's just-
DJ. What was her name?
Daisy
something
Odell?
Daisy Odell. Whew, the
Killed it.
jams.
Pun
Just-
intended. Just
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the vibe there was kind of dead. But I said that joke when we walked in. No one even laughed. But anyways, yeah, Daisy Odell, she was great. She was playing all the greatest tunes from my high school years, all the tunes I grew up on. Yeah,
It was just so great. That movie's so great.
yeah,
Yeah.
that movie's.
I forgot how cute Val Kilmer was.
Yeah.
Also, there is so much face sweat in this movie that I don't know how they didn't get a note about that. Like, did people just sweat out of their faces more in the 80s?
It was
Seems as
stressing. It was
such.
very stressful scenarios.
I know, but like usually it's not 24/7 like chic and sweat. Like it wasn't just like at your temples.
Well,
It was a full like Bikram yoga class
The
sweat.
80s and the late 80s and early 90s were athletic, chic,
Sweaty
sexy.
times.
Yeah. So it was,
No, remember that like in the early scene when the dude is yelling at them and he's bald, the bald guy,
Yeah.
and he's just got his entire head is just like a pool.
Yeah.
well, that probably has more to do with being in the hull of a fucking aircraft carrier.
Sure. But still.
I think there was someone there squirting
Yeah,
him, helping him
yeah.
out a little bit. I also thought it was so funny to see how in every scene they were trying to make Tom Cruise look so much taller than he was.
Yeah, you don't
Where-
notice those things until now that we know everything that we know about all the tips and tricks.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, he's definitely standing on an apple box
Yeah.
there. Or like when the bald guy in the beginning came over,
Yeah.
they had him really looking up at Tom. I'm like,
Okay.
get
Are you,
Ace in
what, are you
here.
4'10"? You're having to look up.
Right, like y'all are the same height.
Yeah.
5'10", right, Ace? Anyway, should we get into our Val?
We're
Well,
doing
what
a
else
show.
we got going on?
Well, that's what we came here to do.
We're doing a show.
Okay, I just want to start off today's show with a comment from Meteor Wine. Oh, now I get it. Reality TV nurtures narcissism and toxic behavior. Podcast showcasts that cover them call it out for us. We, the audience, gleefully watch because those people are so bad they make us feel normal despite our own many pathologies. But then, in the darkness of night, as the head hits the pillow, we reflect upon the hours spent watching these shows and then the fantastic long-form analysis by Showmance. The self-loathing sets in. So we watch some more to recenter and feel good again. Everybody wins. And I just want to say to everyone, welcome to your Sunday morning recentering.
Yes.
That's what we do here.
This episode brought to you by Meteor Wines. Meteor Wines and deep dives. Thanks, babe.
Yeah, we were gonna crack that today, but we're
It's
doing
2
this
o'clock.
a day late. We usually shoot the Valley recaps on Friday night and then work on them Saturday, post them early Sunday morning. Like, last night was the 4th, so we decided let's treat ourselves and go do something we want to do. So I feel a little hungover. That's number 1. And number 2, this is such a good bottle of wine that like
It needs to be savored.
it needs to be savored. It needs to be in the evening, and so that's
It will be drank
yeah.
on a different recap episode
Yeah.
where Nat can fully enjoy.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go straight when everyone leaves. I'm gonna go straight to the edit bay to get this out. And if I'm drunk doing that, this thing's never gonna get out.
Yeah,
tomorrow
normal
morning.
sober editing's hard enough.
Sober editing's just shitty enough.
Add
Yeah.
a good cab in there, you're
Yeah.
really fooked.
Yeah, I will just keel over and pass out.
I'm
anyhow.
going to pound one of these bottles of wine when we're done. So stay tuned for that
Okay.
Instagram.
Mark.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we start at the group dinner.
Mhm.
We see Luke for the first time, like stressed the f- out.
Yeah.
I didn't know Luke had that setting.
I,
Not that
I
there's
worry
that-
about these two a little bit.
Who,
Oh,
Luke and
really?
Kristen?
I just I hope that they have a long engagement and make sure that this is what they both like. I know they're gonna have a kid together, but like they both really wanted a kid, and she's
Here,
Wait,
yeah, and
born?
she's so freaking cute. If anyone saw that Us Weekly spread, that little head,
I didn't see it.
oh
Is it
god, it's like a little angel.
Yeah,
like
she's-
I mean, you know, people can be little babies are. They're not. This one was like a little Ann Getty's baby.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
My last question was, how long, I guess well, it will be my first question. How long do you think they'll be together?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Is this like a 2 or 3 year situation? Is this a 10 to 10-ish? Is this a 15 to 20 year deal? Like,
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they had another baby again, because I think Luke says that in the after show that like
Yeah.
they might even like have another baby before they actually go get married, which I took. You could take it 2 ways, or I did. I had 2 ways that I was taking it. One is they know that they've got a lot of differences between
Yeah.
the two of them, you know, that it's just like, and as do we. And like you get over the hump, and then like those aren't that big of a deal because it just kind of becomes a way of life, and you've you both know that the other one loves each other so much. So like
Yeah.
you can get over it. But like you got to get over that hump. And that can take 5, 6, 7 years sometimes. Like if you're that different, like they are night and day polar opposite of everything. She's not changing. She is living on another planet. And he seems pretty staunch about, he just doesn't seem like very bendy. So I don't know. Like they could be the perfect match because of all those things, or it could cause a lot of problems that like you just got to really want to be in it for it to work. So we'll see how much they really want to be in this.
I think you can have massive differences and be all good in the hood.
Yeah.
However, when you add a kid, those differences can sometimes be what breaks you up.
Yes.
And so I think if they can get through like 5 years
Yeah,
with
that's what I think.
kids, all that stuff,
Exactly.
then I think they're in a really good spot.
That's exactly what I think too. Get over that 5, 6 year hump with those kids. And also not just the kids adding to it, but like they're on a TV show. Like that's like a whole other, that's like rat poison to a relationship, usually.
The easiest way to get divorced is get on a reality TV show.
Yeah.
That being said, like I think it'll be more than 4 or 5 years, 6. I think because like I feel I'm just getting this feeling that like Luke is probably gonna need a buddy. What is there? Is it a daughter they had?
Yeah.
He's probably gonna need someone old enough to like go camping with and learn to teach how to fish.
Yeah.
And do like his things, right? Because I don't know if he's probably less bendy than, but he did say like, I am coming around. You guys are become my family. Like I'm starting to, I'm starting to not hate it as much here. So I think he'll come around, but I think he'll probably be in that regard of like throwing a kid in the mix of two different people. It's going to take him a minute until he can scoop her up and throw her in the truck and be like, we're going camping for 3 days. We'll catch you later, loonies. And Kristen can stay home and be crazy and call the girls. And like, I don't mean in a bad way, but just like get all emo and be like, can you believe he did this and that and the other? And he can be like, so here's how you catch a fish. And she can be like, this is nice.
Yeah.
So quiet out here.
Yeah.
Does mom ever come camping? And he's like, nope. And
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, like, and then boosh. Now he has a thing and he can go back and be like, oh, it was, that it might take a little time for him. I don't know. I could be making shit up.
No, I don't think you are.
Great.
The other reason that aside from them like taking a long engagement, for the reasons of they've got their differences that they need to work out, and the other side of that could be that like Kristen's just a savvy reality TV person. Like you got the engagement this year, you got the baby, like they'll probably, open next season on like her having the baby and like
pregnant again,
introing baby,
right.
maybe get pregnant again.
What did they
and
call
then
that?
they've got the
Irish
planning
twins.
stages,
No.
and then the season after that would be the marriage. Like you can squeeze 4 seasons easily
out of the storyline,
the story that they've got going. So that's just good business.
Not the wedding when you have 2 kids.
Irish twins.
Oh, twins. I thought you said wedding. Got it.
Yeah, no, Irish twins.
Yeah.
My brother and sister are Irish twins.
Nice.
Okay, the only other thing at this scene, which kind of leads, Jesse pulls Aaron for a chat because we're in Love Islandville still. By the way, Mike brought up such a great point. He was like, last night when we were at Sinospia, if they turned on Love Island before the movie, everyone would have lost their shit and cheered. And I agree with that. And I think I sent this both to you on Instagram. I saw someone was at a bar and they all of a sudden put Love Island on and everyone in the bar lost their shit. They were like, yes.
Yeah.
So Natalie and I fancy ourselves as pretty smart business people. And was about 4 or 5 days ago, we were like, do you know it would be the sickest idea? I can't believe no one's ever thought of this. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we went on about how we should open a club or bar that does like Love Island night or Bachelor night. Like that's our thing, right? Is like group watches and like, it's great. How no one's this is insane. Like we should call the bank tomorrow and do this. And since our phones are listening to us, we got flooded with people that have been doing that for years now.
Or but like I think that I think that Bravo should just have bars in every like major city that's
100%.
just like a Bravo bar. Like you
Yeah.
can call
Like
it
a
whatever
Hard
you
Rock
want,
Cafe,
but it's just
but
like
Bravo.
Bravo, NBC, Peacock shows that people gather and watch. And then you've got the plethora of Bravo Lebs to stop by. Like you can schedule them all the
Yeah.
time, so somebody's always
Yes.
there and promoting something and whatever.
Hashtag trademark.
So it is. I think it's a missed opportunity that Bravo, just the network, hasn't just invested in something like this.
Totally. And
Yeah.
do like fun stuff that they do at BravoCon. Like, you'll go there and you'll see like Tamara Barney's old implants or like
Yeah.
someone's hair extensions.
Or like Kristen's that yellow dress that she donated to,
It's just
she
the
gave it
Hard
to
Rock.
Andy on.
It's the Hard Rock. It's a ripoff of the
Yeah.
Hard Rock
Yeah.
Cafe. Just
Yeah.
take Hard Rock Cafe off. They're out of business. Buy all their shit. Take all their memorabilia out of
Yeah.
the cases. Put the Bravo shit
Yep.
in there and put Bravo watch party on the thing.
Yeah.
It's true.
Here for it,
You're
but-
welcome, Andy.
All right. So Aaron and Jesse start chatting at the end of this meal, just the two of them. Do you guys, because I have something to say, shocker, about Jesse. Do you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns about this interaction between the two of them?
I mean, that guy, like, you know what it dawned on me watching him listen to Jesse? Of course, Jesse's talking out of his ass the whole time. But the dude, did you ever see the Californians on SNL? Like,
Yes.
the way he's like,
Yeah.
ooh, what? Like, just the way, like, it really, like, he missed his calling.
He's
He would have been
Californian.
great on that,
Yeah.
on that sketch. I mean, I probably, like, you should just go because I probably have the same things to say that you do.
I just thought,
Wait, let me go
Oh,
first because
please.
I have something, and then you guys can destroy it.
Eki.
and it's meant to be destroyed because here's my thing with Jesse. Maybe it's a boy who cried wolf. I'm not going to say who I'm referring to because we don't do that on this show, but maybe you guys can figure it out. Sometimes there's people that say 98 dumbass things and two really like not great thing, but like things where you're like, okay, those two things make
Yes.
perfect sense. Those are right. Run with those two. No. You're back at the 98. No, God damn it, dude. What are you doing? Like, and because you say 98 stupid fucking things, I have such a hard time defending the two things or trying to get people to realize, like, no, this one, right? That's a valid thing that this is a mature conversation. You have every right for him to be a dad and to ask him to respect the dad part of this and the fact that, like, you're accepting, okay, my daughter is going to be in a relationship with this guy. He's going to be in a relationship with my daughter. This needs to, like, we should, like, that's, yes, all of that is fair and honest and great. But because it's coming from such a twat, whoever said twat, I'm bringing that. I'm like, I want to defend it. Like, so I want to defend Jesse and be like, no, this is fine. This was a fine conversation. I don't know if Aaron's being honest about the thing. I think that one part is still like either Jesse's spiraling because he thinks he got cheated on, or this is just part of his storyline for season 2 that he has in his little notebook. Like, okay, ep 12, meet Aaron in Hawaii, ask about relationship, right? So like that part, whatever, that part is bullshit. But the part about the dad, just being a dad and like, okay, you're going to be in her life. Can I lay down some groundwork? That's the feeling I got, was like, I want to defend you for this, but I can't because you've said too many stupid things. I can't even defend you for the good, not defend him, but just kind of.
But even but see, I think that's where I take umbrage with what he did, because it's, yes, he has every right to be like, this is my child. She is not 18 years old yet. If she's going to be put up on social media, I am going to be saying yes or no, like if this can happen, right? But I just think,
I don't even think he was asking that.
No, but okay, so let me start from the top with my thought on this. He pulls this guy aside to ream him, or not ream him, but just chastise him for something that they've already talked about off camera and that he's already apologized for, and he took the post down right away. So like, it's a done deal, dude. So for him, in Jesse's mind, he's bringing this up because he's got to knock this guy down and get him on shaky ground so that when he says what he really gives a shit about, which is, did you ever have an affair, emotional, physical, or in any way, shape, or form with my wife, Michelle? Like, he wanted to get him. It's like, when you're in a fight, like in a boxing match, it's
You've been in a lot of boxing matches.
a ton. You don't even know my history in boxing. But like, you know how it's like you see him just get that one hit in and he's disoriented and then he can go for the knockout. I think that's what Jesse thought he was doing.
Yeah.
He was knocking him off of his block a little bit and then went in to be like, yeah, now I'm going to get you. Because now here, when you're with your girlfriend, my soon-to-be ex-wife, in front of all these cameras on this TV show, now's the time you're going to open up and tell me that, yes, I have been her the entire time you guys were married.
God,
like,
how great would that have been?
It would have been amazing just to see him spiral. But
it's be like, yeah, dude,
that's why it's like he did have, I get it. You could totally want to talk to him about like posting on social media, not posting on social media. That is totally valid. First of all, they've been dating for over a year and this has happened more than once. You've already talked about it. And if it's that big of a deal, then do it at the time that it happens. Don't wait to be in front of the cameras. Number two, he's apologized for it. And number three, he has to throw that dig in there like, and you wouldn't know this because you're not a dad. Where it's like, we get it, Jesse. Like, it's not, let me explain something to you. Being able to impregnate someone, you don't get some medal for that, okay? Being a stand-up good parent is what you should be applauded for. And I just think Jesse's like, oh, because I have a kid, that makes me like a special person comparative to Aaron. And it's like, oh, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember. There's a comedian who has one of the best jokes. Somebody, maybe Joe Schmo, because she remembers everything. But there's a comedian who has that, like, to all the people that are like, well, you don't have kids. Well, you don't understand because you don't have kids. Yeah. And he's like, if I saw a helicopter crashed into a tree, I don't know how to fly a helicopter, but I can tell you that guy probably did something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
fair
right.
enough. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, and that's what, like that, like if it was anybody else saying what he said, that's my point. It's like, I can't, I don't even know if you're being serious. Like, so because of that other, like, you're just such a cock all the time. But if you were, I have a hard time. And I know people are going to get on here and be like, oh, I can't believe you would defend this piece of shit and da-da-da.
No, I don't think you're defending him.
I don't think I am either, but somebody will think that and say it. And you're more than welcome to. But like I said, that was my thought during this scene is you're that guy.
Well, and he just shows his ass in such a transparent way. Like when he is sitting there asking him again for the 1,000th time that we've seen, okay? God knows how many times he's just done this to everyone else in his life, talking about this alleged affair, bringing it up to them, and how he asks Aaron, and Aaron's like, absolutely not, and then tells them every time that they interacted, he and Michelle interacted, and Jesse's like, I don't believe him. I'm like, right. Because you're not going to believe Aaron until he gives you the answer you want to hear. If he keeps saying it never happened, you're not going to believe him. So why are you still asking?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so stupid. He's never going to tell you the truth because to Aaron, let's just say this is the truth, right? Jesse's never going to believe it. And if he's lying, Aaron's never going to tell you. So it's like, just stop asking.
Yeah.
It's like a girl asking her boyfriend, do I look fat in this? Why the fuck are you saying yes?
Yeah.
Compared to what? That's another good joke. That's an old one. I would never say that.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to say, yes, I think you've put on 30 pounds and that looks terrible on you. Right? You're laughing because it's so ridiculous. Aaron is, if this is the truth, then he's telling the truth. And if it's not, he's not going to tell you because it's just, what the hell is that going to get him? So for Jesse to sit there and be like, just be on my team, dude. And it's like, I'm sorry. Are you high?
Yeah.
Like, how many Mai Tais have you had, bro? He's stooping your ex-wife. That's whose team he's on?
Yeah.
The person who's, not to get vulgar, but like, come on.
Aaron seems like we see so little of him. We hear him talk so little. And then what we do see of him, like the show really seems to love to cut to an angle of him like stuck on stupid, you
Yeah.
know, like kind of zoned out and with that stupid beanie on at the beach and just the weird, I don't know. So many like that. When he's having a conversation with Michelle and Michelle was at that coffee shop and she's telling him about something and he's just like,
You know what it
Like-
is? It's I call that microdose face.
oh, yeah,
He's got
I call it many
microdose
things
face.
like that I probably won't say on air.
No.
That's good.
Every time I see him, I'm just like, dude, you're just high enough to function in life, but you're
Yeah.
definitely somewhere else.
So
right
the
now.
lights on, but nobody or how about this? The lights
Multiple
on
lights
and
are on.
yeah, like
That's
the elevator doesn't go all the
problem.
way to the top.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way with sweet little Aaron.
Yeah. So sometimes I get the idea that he could just be someone who doesn't say a ton, but like is not stupid, but sometimes he looks pretty stupid. So sometimes I think that Jesse, I don't, when I say I don't blame Jesse, like Jesse's Jesse, like blame him for everything for all I care, like he's responsible for everything horrible. But like I don't blame him for like trying to see like I'm gonna see if I can crack him one more time because he like Aaron does seem like he could at some point just be like, yeah, because you were a shitty husband. I don't know what to tell you. We met because I was in a shitty relationship and she was in a shitty relationship. And that's life, bro. Sorry. I would not be shocked if one day he does just respond with that answer and like.
By the way, let's just say that's the case and Aaron says it one day.
Yeah.
I'm so curious. Like, Jesse, what would that do? The outcome is still the same.
Yeah.
So what would that do for you to know it? So if you believe it, then just stop asking and live that way because the outcome is exactly the same. You're not going to feel any different.
Well, what's funny is that right now.
No, he would, because right now there's still doubt. Like
Still
he might
doubt about-
believe it, but it's 99% max that he believes she cheated. If Aaron tells him, if he gets confirmation, then it's 100%, and he can go full blown ballistic and feel entitled to do so.
I feel like he
does-
already
I
feels
do. Yeah,
entitled
like,
to
listen,
do so.
you are right, but it's a 99%. Do you know what I mean? Like at best, it's 99%.
Sure.
That's why he keeps asking. He's just going like, and this is the other thing. Like I want to read this comment now because it's, it's so much of everything.
Please.
This is Heather Pike. I know this sounds crazy. It totally doesn't. I'm just gonna start there. I know this sounds crazy, but it kind of feels like Jackson, Janet, and Jason kind of made a pact where they're like, we're going to go after Danny and Nia, so that way Jax doesn't look so bad, and it's not all on him. And maybe Janet and Jason can kind of move up a spit because she found out last year she can't take Kristen down. That Janet found out no one likes her, and they live. And they live near. It just goes on. Basically, the point of basically the first part of that. Just it doesn't sound crazy, but like it's starting to seem like these idiots all got together.
Yeah.
And not to jump ahead, but when they did call Jax, and he was like,
Ugh.
"I got to get back there and stir some shit up," and they all kind of laughed. I know I had a little storm out a couple of episodes ago. And it was because I was like feeling like I was being fed some bullshit and stupid. And I'm feeling that again. I'm like, okay, so these guys everyone here is just doing their job. Okay. But Jesse's got the book of all what he's going to do. Even the pro Kristen has got, okay, well, Luke, here's how, so we're going to do, and are they, will they, won't they? Oh, they will. She's pregnant. Oh, we're going to do let's get Mauied. Then next year we'll have the baby. And then the year after that, maybe baby. And then we'll do that. They've got their little notebook, right? Everyone's got their Lindsay Hubbard timeline going on. And so I get to this place of like, again, what are we talking about? Like, I want to keep doing, but like, I feel like we're almost recapping and deep diving a scripted show, like a borderline semi-scripted show where it's not real.
Well, I feel like, listen, the stuff between Michelle and Jesse is real. Do I think he wants to, like, they are getting divorced?
Because Lil Red said they're getting back together.
For
They're
their-
getting the band back
Listen.
together.
for work stuff.
That's
But do we know?
I mean, listen.
psychotic.
But no, but
If
do we know
that's
that this is true?
Let's just read Little Red's comment right
Yeah,
now
yeah.
because like that was
And Little
Little
Red, how
Red,
do you know this?
she
Where do
wouldn't
we
lie
find
to
this?
us.
No, never. But maybe she got misinformation from someone.
I doubt it.
Let's
How
look
often are people getting
Okay, listen.
misinformation these days?
at Slim to
Hi.
none.
she always starts out so chipper. I love that. Hi. Allegedly, they are having a reunion this year. I can't wait to see Janet's face when she finds out all that planning and conniving she did was in vain. Mark last week made me feel comfortable. At my house, there was always storming out. I just heard that Jesse and Michelle are going back to being partners in business again. I never felt sorry for you, Michelle. I know Jesse called her a lady of the night, but she plays victim too much. Also, I saw a pic of Jesse from 5 years ago. He had a dad bod and long curled hair. What a change. Enjoy your 4th. Love ya. So
I need to know if that. I was just looking
I
on
know,
their
yeah.
Instagrams to see if it is a fact that they are.
yeah. I don't know what that is, Little Red. If you can just hit the comments again and tell us where
Yes.
you found that, because I'm like dying to read that story.
Site
if-
references.
Yeah. But if that is the case, then we literally had these two dialed in from the first episode
Yeah.
of this season, that like they are playing tennis. They feed off of each other. They are used to. Another thing that was surprising to me that I did not know, and I don't know why, but when he says in that discussion with Aaron that he first of all, it's so Jesse to say, oh, I only got back together with Michelle because I got a concussion. Like that's the same as like, oh, when Michelle moved out, I was so happy because I could move all my suits into the closet.
I have a whole theory on that when we get there.
Oh,
Don't you?
yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yeah, no, he has to start off everything with something like that to just kind of put himself in a.
But he thinks what he's doing is making himself look like either the aggrieved party or the hero or the coolest guy in the room, when really, no. You're literally showing us your playbook.
You're doing exactly what he said about like how he wants to tell you. He said these two great things that were really accurate and really like easy to get on board with and seemed like he so dialed in and nailed it. But you've said these other 80 things that like I got a concussion and that's why I was concussed for 8.5 years. Like that is exactly why you will just never really win, because you are your own worst enemy.
Correct.
The two solid points that you do have, they're called talking points. You only need a couple and like you move on. And but you it's nice though too that you can rely on someone that they're just it's a transparency thing.
Yeah.
You always see right through them and they just keep showing
Oddly
us.
comforting at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't have to think about it much.
I really wanted to jump through the TV and strangle him when he's good at it in the sense that like when he says this shit, it winds you. I can't get his mouth today.
I'm
Maybe-
losing fish like I was out on the lake.
I know, that's like they're alive and just jumping out of your little
Seriously.
manos.
I didn't know these things were real.
That's why I don't eat them anymore.
Veggie.
Like when he says shit like, I mean, how else do you explain her having a boyfriend 2 weeks after we broke up and she's still sleeping at my house? And I'm like, it's your marital home. You both paid the rent on that home. Okay. It's not like you bought it and she just moved her shit in and now she's been there for 6 months after you guys broke up, stooping her boyfriend elsewhere.
This one's on my bed, my room, my bathroom, my apartment, my thing.
No.
Drives me crazy.
We're not even keeping that in because like that is so ridiculous how like that has been you from day one. Well, I'm like, you're like, well, this is broken. I'm like, well, call them. This isn't my apartment. This isn't my faucet. This isn't. And I'm like, I can't countless times that he has said that. So, and when I say things like my room, I go, I'm totally joking. I'm like, you can leave my room then. Like this is, don't put your thing, like it's totally a joke. And
Mike, you say it's a joke?
It's 1,000% a joke.
Totally.
Oh, you're so full of it. I love that this is so ridiculous.
We're not going to go here, guys. We're having a fun episode. Okay.
None of this going in like you said, but
I just want to say that I did not know they were together for 8.5 years. That blew me away. I thought that they were one of these couples that started dating, got engaged like a year later, got married 6 months to a year later, had the kid a year later, and then it all fell apart. When like reality sunk in. She was together with this dude for 8.5 years.
I think they were together for like 3 years before they got married. And then I think they were married for about 5 years.
Dude, that's...
Also, can we just talk about something really quickly that came up in the after show, but it does pertain to this scene? Yeah. I do believe Michelle when she says this. She goes, that day that Aaron had posted that picture of a group of us hanging out on his Instagram, it was actually Jesse's weekend and he went to a wedding and asked if we could watch Isabella. So they just happened to have Isabella on Father's Day.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a targeted thing by Aaron to like usurp Father's Day from Jesse and post this picture to make him feel bad. And I just think you missed Father's Day with your kid. Like,
he said he was back by noon. He was just at a wedding. I can't understand someone saying, oh, like, first of all, who plans a wedding on Father's Day? Like, that seems, unless there was some reason that they had behind it, like, oh, my dad passed, I'm to honor my dad, like something like that. So I don't know. But if you have RSVP to a wedding and like this year, granted, like I just lost like my 2 dads that I grew up with my whole life. Like I totally forgot. I mean, I have another stepdad. I forgot that it was Father's Day when it happened. Like, I think maybe that was a weird, like a psychological suppression thing, like to just not know that it was Father's Day when like my entire last 2 years have revolved around 2 dying parents. Like, so I don't, like, that's not a thing I would ever normally do. But I never recognize them by the dates. If you get a wedding invitation 3 to 6 months in advance and like, oh yeah, RSVP, go. And then you realize like, wait, what weekend is it? Like, is that like, so I'm not defending Jesse, but like, I can't understand how somebody would be like, I didn't even realize that was Father's Day. But if he was back by noon the next day and went and picked her up from there, I just think that like, if you are at an event, I think that they were at the family's house because it was someone's father was there.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this,
no,
so
they
he's
were
at this thing.
Yeah.
They're celebrating it. You can take that group photo and you can post it the next day. You don't need to post it at all. Or don't post it. But like, I don't blame him for posting a beautiful family photo that was taken at his family barbecue. And like, what are you going to do? Be like, Isabella, can you get out of this photo? You know? So I don't blame Aaron for...
the iPhone has those things. You just hit the kid and it disappears.
Yeah. We can't afford your trademark, Isabella.
Yeah.
That seems shady to me that he didn't
or your
do
image
that.
and likeness.
Yeah. But I just don't believe that Michelle nor Aaron thought about, we're posting a photo on Father's Day with Isabella in it. And like, I think that was a choice. I think that he took it down later, which was the right thing to do. But like, if anyone tries to tell me that like, oh, well, it was just a family photo, whatever, but bullshit. You like, Jesse's made it very clear that he is the father here and he's probably like picking on them all the time. Like, that was a choice.
Oh, yeah. Like maybe they talked about it before all that. You're right about all that. But I don't think Jesse was saying like, we'll put pictures of my daughter on Instagram, or don't put pictures of you with my daughter on Instagram. He was saying, wow, picture with you and my daughter on Father's Day? That's a little deep. Like, and that's where I'm like, yeah, no, you got me there.
No, but this is my point.
Much.
They were all invited to the wedding. Jesse and Aaron chose not to go. And Aaron and Michelle chose not to go. And Jesse decided to go, right? So so that's why they had her on a weekend that Isabella would normally be with Jesse.
Yeah.
And I just think, if it's that important to you to soak up all of Father's Day with your child, then
Who said for who?
For Jesse.
When did he say it was so important for him to soak up
I think
all
I'm
that?
missing something because I don't remember
because
this
he's
being
making
at all
such a big deal about like, because it was Father's Day. So it's like, great, you could have been with the kid on Father's Day.
But
he wasn't, because there was a wedding to go to. So he went to this wedding, like she said, like it was a fucking wedding. These people got married on Father's Day. He decided to do that. Like, that's fine. That's fine too. All of this is fine. Go have a barbecue with your family. Take my dog. It's all fine. I agree. I'm going to a wedding. Did you have to post a fucking thing with my daughter on Father's Day? Like, he was just saying that. Like, if it was a Sunday barbecue, the 4th of July, Isabella's birthday, I don't think he gives a shit. But Father's Day, like, I'm at a wedding, our friend's wedding, you guys were invited, and you're you're going to post it on Father's Day. When, like, Natalie's, you could have done it tomorrow.
100%.
Like, it just, I think that's the only thing Jesse was mad at, is just the dig on, like,
Unless
that
I
day.
miss something that he said, like, you took my kid on Father's Day, like, and from me, like, took, like, I missed that if that was
No, I think the
happening.
reason that I'm just like not bending with him, one, I don't like him.
Yeah, no, I know.
Two, you guys already talked about this. He already said he was sorry and he took the picture down. So like, why are you bringing this up now again in front of the cameras? Because I'm not bringing up, oh, it was a wedding that we were all invited to. You decided to skip the weekend with your daughter, give us extra time with her, and go to this fucking wedding that, by the way, we could have been at also, but we prioritized seeing your daughter, and you went to this wedding. And I'm so sorry that I didn't realize it was Father's Day and I posted the picture and I took it down right away. So what's your problem? That would have been my response if I was Aaron. Because it's like, we've talked about it.
Oh,
Why are you bringing this up again?
That's the thing. That's why I think that he keeps trying to take, keeps taking shots at Aaron, thinking he might get him to admit the thing, because like Aaron never really says anything. He'll say, like, when he does wrap it up and he goes, well, respect is a two-way street. And it's like,
I like that he said that.
Totally. But like, he could have said that or not. Like, nobody can really rely on Aaron coming with anything. So I think, I don't know. Like, I wish that it goes back to the whole point that we make on all the shows about like the right messenger. Like,
that's right.
Be so cool if Michelle was with someone who like gave a shit about landing a point.
Yes.
and like
and
came
could do
to
it.
play and came to play, you know, and didn't leave Michelle sort of kind of flailing by herself. And all we really know about Aaron, like, there's like kind of, I could say, well, we know 3 things about Aaron. I don't even know what the other 2 are. I can't even remember them. They're so insignificant. But the thing that sticks with me that they've let us know about Aaron is that he has pretty much told Michelle, like, I don't know if I can keep this thing going if we have to deal with this dude for the rest of my life. Like, this isn't really like my cup of tea, my idea of a great life dealing, you know, with this situation. So all I really know about him is that he seems sort of still like Michelle's got to like do everything she can to shield him from Jesse and whatever. So like, I don't know. Like, there's just sometimes when people go, Jesse going for Aaron, like, it just doesn't bother me that much, because like Aaron is just shown to be such a like the firework that like didn't explode or like
just goes up a little bit and then when it explodes, it's just
like all the smoke up and it's like bing.
Yeah, that's right.
One thing we skipped over was how dumb Jason is. And also, I'm sorry, Johnny, I'm not going to call him Tiger Woods anymore, because Tiger Woods is my #1 athlete of all time. And I'm not going to disrespect Tiger Woods like that anymore. It was funny while it lasted. He does have a small resemblance, I guess. I kid. But yeah, I'm not doing that to Tiger Woods anymore. With that being said, how dumb is Jason?
I know,
I thought that he was doing really good and making some really great progress. And both these two almost fell out of their chairs. Like, that shit was hilarious.
He's literally worse. Was Michelle Michelle
he's
was
literally being a dick right now across the table from you. He's being inappropriate.
Yeah.
And is this
you wanna
for
know why?
real? Is Jax texting you lines right now?
Yes.
Jason, like, as far as his bromances are concerned, because he just happens to think that he who shall not be named and Jesse are just like the coolest dudes that he's ever been friends with. So he's like in dick sand, where he's just getting sucked into this. That's why I have said this a million times on this show. Bad company corrupts good character. Yeah. And Jason might have had some shred of good character or a lot of good character. I don't know. But you are the company you keep, and these two are making you look so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to college. That's why I'm so dumb.
That's not nice to say. I've
seen
about
some
yourself.
movies. I've seen a couple movies, and we don't have a lot of dudes that watch us. But if we have some dudes that went to college and we're in a fraternity, you can maybe vouch for me. And maybe it's the same with the sororities. Jason is the kid that got into the frat and is enamored with the fucking 2-3 dudes that run the frat. Like, and the fact that those dudes know his name and like he gets beers for them a couple times, you know, once in a while. Like, What up?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He
Like,
carried a watermelon.
yeah, he's the water boy. Like,
Do not bring Dirty Dancing into this. Do not soil the
Just
name
saying,
of Dirty
that
Dancing.
line is
but-
exactly
Totally.
what Jason is standing there with a watermelon,
Yeah.
like essentially.
yeah, no,
Carried a
100%.
watermelon.
That's Jason.
yeah. Well, all right, let's keep moving into the ep. Yes, because we're only on the first scene
Yeah.
right now. Okay, the next scenes are kind of just little peppering into setting the stage for getting Mauied. And it's Nia and Danny at breakfast, which I guess it wasn't enough what happened with Luke to really like air it in real time, but we saw that Luke had a little mentee bee.
I have a theory.
Please, I love your theories.
It's not the wasabi one though, is it? Because a couple days ago you were like, I can't believe he stormed out because of the wasabi.
No,
I'm like,
no, no,
I
he
don't
was in his
think
bedroom.
it's the
Out because of the wasabi.
wasabi.
I never said he's.
I think you're doing
You're so crazy.
okay.
No, I would like. No, I didn't really understand. Like, I couldn't really believe that Luke would decide. Oh, sure, I'll snort this wasabi.
That was
like,
a little strange.
That was strange.
yeah, that's a like. I could see Jackson. I could even
Listen.
see Jesse getting wasted and doing that, but it didn't really.
Homeboy did-
Luke, like,
He did just drop 14 G's on that ring, so he's trying to make some money, you know. So 20 bucks
yeah.
is 20
Maybe.
bucks. Fucking take some wasabi right now.
Okay, so I think that as an overarching theory for what we're seeing right now, it would appear to me that the show is really protecting Kristen this season, and I think which would also, if you watch our Next Gen and my C recaps, like I had a whole thing about why the show is not protecting Charlie at all, which nobody's mad about it. Like, it's nice to just get to the point, get in, get out. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but I personally find it to be a very specific choice that isn't just made by one person. It's made by a group of people, and that's what I'm seeing with Kristen this year. And it seems like, not that Kristen's doing anything really so horrible, but I have a feeling that they're doing it because they are tinkering with the idea of like letting Jax go into the night. Like, maybe like we're seeing him. How much have we seen Jax this season? Like, that wasn't on a phone screen or a regular size screen, but from a phone, taken from a phone. Like, it's almost like he's in scenes. It makes me wonder what his contract says. Like, he is guaranteed however many minutes in every episode for however, listen, there's a million of those things. You never know what's in there, but like the amount of time that they're keeping him in there, it just seems so like, oh, we gotta like they got a quota to meet or something because of the way that they're doing it. Cause he kind of pops in places that we could have gone this whole episode and not seen him. And I truly don't even think anybody would have noticed because the story was so driven by the people that we were with, and it was a good story. And it's the engagement episode. So like, you could have left Jax at home forever and nobody would have known the difference. So them not, there's been a couple things that we'll see in flashbacks of Janet, or not Janet, of Kristen, just Kristening, where she, I never saw her say, oh, Aaron, you're friends with Jenna, whatever, right? Like bringing up Michelle's boyfriend's ex-girlfriend or ex-fling or like whatever it was. There was someone else, doing the line about, Jason taking his ring off, which she's told us 15 times over, like, I did that because you were coming for Danny and Nia. So anyhow, I have this feeling that they are, like, Kristen has just had a very, very low-key season. She has not been involved in much, and when she is involved in it, she always comes out looking strong and steady. And that, if we are just being honest with ourselves, that is not the Kristen that we have known for the last decade.
Yeah.
It just isn't. So in a way, the way that they pumped up that scene from the jump, like we have been seeing that in our teasers. That was in the big season teaser. We've seen it teased since then on like a mid-season like we've seen it a lot. And then they end up just showing it to us in a flashback. So I think that they decided at some point along the way, like, we don't want to feature this anymore. Just how they decide what they want to feature, I'm always complaining about, like, why are we seeing this in a flashback?
Yeah.
It just, it dumbs it down so much. It makes it where it's just, you're not, if it's in sepia or it has like a shadow over it, it's just not hitting. So I just think that was another very obvious choice. And I appreciate all that. because I have a feeling that they don't want to show Luke possibly acting a little cuckoo, like more than they need to on the engagement weekend. I think they wanted this to be a very light and fun episode that has been a very dark 11 episodes previously. So I think they made a choice to not feature that.
Yeah, and not like sully up or like sour the
Yeah.
proposal episode because he is the guy proposing.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, genuine question. I mean, Mike, I know you have never proposed before, but do you, no, I didn't mean that in like a Jessie way, like because you're not a father. I mean it like you obviously you have thought about proposing, right?
A couple times.
Is it just to the same person then? Just is it so nerve-wracking? But maybe it's nerve-wracking for different people. Like he was really nervous. He kept saying it. He was very nervous.
I can speak to half of it. It is really nerve-wracking to try and get the moment right and to plan that thing and make sure it doesn't get up and that it's not cheesy and that she likes it and it's not all those things, right?
Okay.
Like, so there's that. I also think I was like, dude, I could watch 42 minutes of these idiots getting Kristen off the ring that she's been waiting her whole life for every week for years and years and years. Like that
so
is
good.
the most classic comedy I've ever seen in my life. And for Luke to be like, she's sitting on the ring, like this is so Kristen. Like,
and all of it, like
it
she didn't want to shower. She didn't want to wear a cute outfit. Like
Nia being like, oh, but the sun, and she's like, what is wrong? I'm not taking pictures. Like, get the out here now. Like, so that where he's like, this is not gonna work. It's gonna be dark. We're gonna fuck. Like, so all of that. The asking. Listen, we've been together 16 years in September coming up. I'm pretty sure she's gonna say yes. I don't know for sure, but like we've talked, we've had the conversation. There's a couple reasons why we're not married. Nothing crazy, but like, so like, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about like, oh,
will she, won't she?
Yeah, like, what if she's not ready? What if she's like, oh, thanks, but like, can we just talk about this for a second?
I feel like I should get to know you a little better.
Yeah, totally, right? Like, so, but I imagine, it's nerve-wracking asking, like, I mean, the only thing I can equate it to is pitching shows. Like, you put so much work into something, and then you're going to ask someone, hey, do you accept me? Do you want this? And they're like, no. So that sucks. Again, I don't know how many engagements end up in a no, but
I'm sure people have said no, or they say yes, and then very quickly after they say no because didn't want to ruin the moment.
I would imagine the nerve-wracking part is getting it right.
Yeah, totally. That makes so much sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I've never put myself in the dude's shoes before. I'm like, wow, he is really, for a guy that we've only seen super calm and collected. Yeah. He was very nervous, which was kind of adorable to see.
Yeah. And listen, I think for unfortunately, traveling for 36 hours is a big fat bummer. Not being able to sleep, big fat bummer. Being hungry, big fat bummer.
Your grandmother dying.
Your grandmother, who you think, oh, that's the last time I'm going to get to see my grandma.
Massive.
And I'm supposed to get like all these things. Like, man, I was feeling for that dude really a lot. So yeah, I think he had every right. Obviously, he had every right to be nervous. But like, yeah, he had every right to have a little breakdown.
Well, after we see them kind of all putzing around in the morning, we quickly just jump out to the girls in the pool. Aaron's there. He's the only dude that's like in on this conversation. And honestly, all I could hear like a horn, like a bullhorn, is just Janet's voice complaining about the same shit, having the same issues, and her energy is just like a wet blanket over this. You are in Maui on a fully like paid for trip. You maybe you have to pay for your souvenirs or some of this shit, but like I would imagine the show is footing the bill for the most of this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For most of this.
For the Maui trip?
Yeah. Like they've got to be getting their rooms.
I mean, I think Kristen had a Hyatt water bottle that she kept drinking out of.
Yeah.
So I imagine.
I'm sure it was a sponsored trip.
Yeah.
Sponsored trip.
And it's just like, God, Janet, you're just like always, there's this saying in Yiddish, like a fabis and a punim. Like you're always just like looking like you're sucking on a lemon. You're always just like annoyed by something. And it's just like, you're in Maui.
I know.
It's the first vacation away with you and your husband. You guys could get a little sexy couple time in. And literally, we'll talk about it when we get there, but like she can't even enjoy herself later on in the episode when she's just going to spend time with her husband. And I just think like she's you don't love to hate her and you don't love to love her. She's just in this annoying space of like, get her off my screen. And listen, I'm sure she's a nice neighbor and people, you know, in her community appreciate her. I just don't appreciate her as part of the cast of this show.
No, she'd be a great friend of, because she would come in, you could use her to, you know, say that thing that you want to say, but you're not dumb enough to say because you know that'll get you disinvited from the next cast trip or like whatever. Like I think she serves a purpose. It's just like not in the way that like I don't think that someone who is so calculated in that way, who hasn't earned it, deserves a full-time spot on a show. I think that she has. I was like thinking like she is operating in a way that like other people can operate. Her and Kristen have some similarities in how they pick and choose of what, like deciding of like what to say, but Kristen has earned her stripes.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that like we'll get to it, but I think that the realization of that this isn't working because like you have just not earned this yet comes to, I don't know if it's full circle because I just don't know how what she's good. I don't know how disciplined she would be to try to course correct at this point. But it kind of comes
don't know
full
how
circle.
what she would be
like Janet needs to course correct.
Yes, I totally agree.
And I keep waiting for her to do it, and she
Yes.
hasn't yet. So I don't have a ton of confidence that it's like Jessie when it's like say those two things and then don't say the other 80 things that make it where those two things
Where no
get
one
totally
can
overshadowed.
defend you.
Yeah, Janet hasn't gotten hasn't been able to stop those other 80 things yet either. They're
But and I'm with you. I don't know if she can.
yeah.
Well, here's something else that I realized during this episode is that watching Janet and Kristen is like, for anybody who's we'll go to the boxing reference because it happens in boxing, but not as much as it does in the UFC. In the UFC or MMA, they will pick a fight, right? So Bob and Fred are going to fight, and Bob's the champ, right? He's got the belt, and Fred's the contender. He wants the championship belt. And Bob and Fred are going to spend the next 2 months talking so much shit to each other, telling everyone how shitty they are at fighting, how Bob got the belt off a fucking fake ass and I'm gonna knock him out, and on Twitter, on the thing. Then they're gonna do interviews on ESPN where they're gonna be screaming at each other, and then they're gonna get it and they're shoving, I'm gonna get you, and then they're do weigh in and there's gonna be some tension, and then they're gonna do that and fucking screaming, shouting. And then they're gonna fight, and we're gonna find out, is Bob gonna be the champ or is the fucking whoever? I can't remember the guy's name. Fred? Is he gonna let's go and we pay per view and we watch the reunion? Is gonna be Janet coming for the title. This whole season of these two is Janet talking shit to the champ because she knows
She's never gonna win.
The fight's been planned, it's been scheduled, it's the reunion for season 2, and Janet's coming for the title.
No, you ain't gonna get it,
She is
girl.
going to get knocked the fuck out in round 1.
Oh,
And that's if it happens. That's when Janet will sit down and be like, babe, we got to reevaluate for season 3.
Yeah.
And Jason will be like, bitch, I don't even think they're going to call us for season 3.
Yeah.
And she's going to be like, well, we need to be prepared if they do.
Yeah.
That's what I see is that it's just a shit talk fest.
Yeah.
And the champ is like,
try
okay,
me. It's not
bring
even.
it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to rail you. That being said, small, like the champ can always catch one. So like there is a chance that Janet wins the reunion.
Kristen might catch. Yes, exactly. But she's not going to. Can't keep a good man down.
Yeah,
and she's
but
not
you
going to.
can for a season. Like you're the champ until someone takes you. Then they would have to wait till the next reunion. The reunions just basically become WrestleManias.
Yeah.
This is great.
Which I
I'm
loved as a
so
kid.
into that. Yeah, it was the best.
The reason I said Zach is the number one guy in the group is because of the next scene. We have now seen him in both seasons help set up for the trunk show, pick someone up at the airport, do the decorations for the engagement. Like he is.
He picked up his boyfriend at the airport. I don't know if he can put that on the list.
Okay, still, but I think
I'm
there are
with you.
plenty of people that don't pick.
What?
Don't come for our guy.
Yeah.
I'm
Get
not.
on
I'm
board.
just saying.
Yeah, we
like,
love Zach. My point is, like, I think we've just been saying all year that like Zach is the friend that you want to have. He went for He Who Shall Not Be Named in the kitchen at that party at Jesse's house, which was Benji's welcome home party. I think he did it so well.
Yeah.
Didn't get rattled. Like he stands up for you. He will plan the party for you. He is just a good friend. I am so here and queer for fucking Zach. I love him.
He like all of that. But then sometimes those people don't, get to be rewarded for those things.
Yeah.
And I felt like Zach got to be there from the start of the planning committee with this. Zach got to decide who's going to be in what rooms. Zach got to decide every minute that went by, like minute 237, I'll let Jesse know. Minute this, I'll let Britney know. He got to be in charge of rolling this whole thing out. And then he got to be the one to call Janet and have that moment with her to be like, so here's the thing.
Wait,
Janet
she called him?
She called him.
Janet called him and basically made it so easy for Zach, and Zach deserved that.
Right, but
where
I thought
he was like,
she called him
to say, I don't think it would be right for me to come to this surprise thing.
Jason overheard Britney's conversation
that they're engaged.
Didn't he start it off though?
No, he was basically saying like, listen, I think you're right. You guys haven't even had a conversation. So
Yeah.
for you guys to be in t-shirts with their faces on it, being like, we're so happy for you would be not, disingenuous.
Disingenuous.
Thank you.
I don't even know.
Opportunely.
disingenuinely.
Disingenuous. And then he's like, but just so you know, this dinner, it's like,
say it like a Maya.
Yeah.
he's like, just so you know though, the dinner, like if you guys wanted to pop in for the dinner, that's going to be totally like chill. It's in a big space. We're standing up and eating at little tables. Like it's not an awkward sit down dinner just to celebrate them. And because Janet is incapable of not having something go her way, she was like, no, we'll just actually fly home tonight. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Good for you, Janet.
Bye.
Okay. So
Yeah, please.
I missed it that she called him, but just knowing that was Janet trying to steal a moment from Zach because Zach was supposed to be able to call her and give her that news. She tried to intercept that and just say, I'm not going to go, acting as if she's being the bigger person, but she's just trying to take the reins and do it. But Zach didn't really let her because she had already said like, oh, I just think like we probably won't come and whatever. And then Zach keeps going and says the thing that he's been rehearsing about being like, I just don't think it would be a great idea for her to show up and then like you're wearing a picture of her on your shirt. I just think that might be weird or whatever. Like I think that Zach wanted to say that and had planned on saying this thing to her, and her calling him first and trying to intercept that. He's like, no, bitch, I'm still gonna say the thing about how I don't think you should wear her face on your t-shirt. One note about that, I would feel very differently. I would not have a meltdown knowing that like my arch nemesis, or not arch nemesis, I feel like puts them mano a mano.
Yeah.
But just like someone that I loathe.
Yeah.
If I showed up and they had to wear a t-shirt of my face on their shirt, I would find victory in that. I would think that was hilarious. I would in fact then get a shirt made of me looking at Janet with Janet's like my face.
It was like on the Last Bachelor when the one girl came in with the fucking shirts.
Yeah.
And she chucked them all over the place. And the one other girl was like, I'm fucking wearing this shit.
The villain.
Yeah. Dude,
or the tried to be villain and then she ended up being a fan favorite.
It happens. We like our villains.
I actually think though, because Zach is just so on the right side of things currently.
Yeah.
He he can't lose at least this season. So when he didn't want to really make that phone call to Janet, or that's what he was saying in his confessionals, like,
no, he did.
She made it so easy for me to do this. Like, he was just so happy that she called to be like, so listen. And he's like, exactly. And I'm still going to get my good line in.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's green lights and all rights for our sweet little Zachy Poo right now.
That is another thing that made me think about how they are just positioning these people. They are moving for, again, this is a baseless conspiracy theories.
Natalie's baseless conspiracy theories.
But it's like,
needs to have a theme song.
They're holding Kristen in a bubble. They're not letting any of her wackies slip out on the sides. Same with Luke. They're not letting his mentee B make the engagement episode cut. Yeah. They're putting Zach in such wonderful position. Like, I think that they're really trying to rebuild this show to see, like, can we let this other dude go? And they're trying to make Zach a main character and make a Kristen that, and they're giving Britney that opportunity as well. I think she's been I don't want to say she's been blowing it, because she's been involved in like the biggest story of the year. But I think that also this episode will show some choices that she's made that are not in her best interest.
But also that Britney maybe got a tiny little sense of like, wait, are you guys, hold on. Hey guy, how come no one, we're best friends. How come I didn't get to go on the boat, but I wanted to fish? Wait, I didn't get to plan the room. Hold on. But and she was like, no, I know I'm being selfish. No, you're not being selfish. You're being concerned about your job is what you're doing. Like
she's getting it.
Yeah.
Like,
dude.
All of them are getting it. I don't want to jump ahead though. I don't even know where we're at, because that's a whole scene.
I do just want to say, as you were saying all of that, something that hit me that we have said the entire season that we've been covering this show, what this show is missing is a lightness. Like, where's the levity? Where's the funny moments? Where's I want to believe that you guys are friends and that you're having these funny moments, emotional moments, tough moments, but I need a blend. Like, you can't just have all salt. Do you know what I mean? You need other spices up in that bitch. And I feel like this episode, the reason this episode was so enjoyable, and I honestly think so far it was the best episode of the season, is because Kristen's sitting on the ring, because she doesn't want to take a shower, because Danny and Nia really, they are a nice couple.
Yes.
Like, Jesus Christ, I want this kid to like be off the hook already.
I know, me too.
And especially like, I just think watching them come together to do this when they were, filming them as the proposal happened, like you saw, this is who Nia is. Nia is the broad who's always wanting the picture that you're like, this is so annoying. And then later it's literally the picture that you have in a frame for 10 years. I feel like you're really good at making us get pictures, at taking, you're not annoying about it, but you're always like, no, we got to get a picture. Like, we have come out tonight. And I'm so grateful that you do, because I forget that I even have a camera attached to me. And I feel like it was so sweet to see Benji and Zach's relationship a little bit more. Even, and I have this note and I will say it and stand by it, even Jesse had likable moments.
He really did.
That I was like, oh my God, more of this. Like, when, whatever we're talking about, so I'll just say it.
But like, they recut this episode after, because this is like, you got to have like however many in the can, like that are like locked and aren't going to get messed with. But I think that they got the note early on enough in the season to where this last half of episodes, they had time to kind of tool them and bring out the sunshine, as opposed to just leaving in all the dark.
Yeah. And there was still drama.
Yeah.
But like, there was real drama in the sense of like the rings, like the proposal. And you could see that was all very genuine. And then also all of the Michelle, Aaron, Jesse stuff. But then there were also moments where you really like laughed and you were so happy for Kristen and Luke, and more of that.
Yeah,
Valley.
No, I think they're getting it.
I said this a few recaps ago. I don't think it was it might have been the Valley. I can't remember what it was, but I was saying that like, it's fun that I'll judge a show based off what face I will catch myself in, and like with Love Island, it's usually a big shit-eating grin, maybe a little little puddles forming. Like it's just always happy and like
That ass.
laughing.
Just-
Yeah, and then like the a lot of times early in The Bachelors or like if I'm ever watching Housewives, it's just like it's a real kind of half disgusted, confused, like what am I doing with my life kind of face. And the Valley is that gets that face. This was the first time I've watched a Valley episode where I caught myself like with the shit-eating grin, smiling and like feeling a little bit happy. And I was like, whoa, what is this? What show is this I'm watching?
Yeah.
What did I stumble into?
Yeah, totally. It was obviously during that proposal because like they nailed it too.
Nailed it.
Danny being like, "Oh, is there a dolphin?" Like right?
I know.
She hook, line, and sinker. No pun intended. Like it seemed like she fell for it. It seemed so genuine that she had no idea what was going on.
We're almost at the proposal. Right before the proposal, it's Jesse, Jason, and Aaron having like shaved ice sitting down. And this is where we get into the concussion conversation.
Yeah.
And you know how I keep saying like Jesse shows his ass?
Yeah.
Thinking he's doing something really smart, like knocking you down or whatever before he gets in to whatever the hell he wants to say. And so when they were talking about like how they got, like they had broken up or how they got back together or something like that. And Jesse's like, oh, you sure you want to know that?
I'm going to stop you because it was even worse.
Yeah.
We talk about call sheet scenes all the time. Like, well, it was on the call sheet. So what did you guys want me to do? This is a call sheet scene. It wasn't them talking about getting back together. It was Aaron saying, we're rolling. Okay. What's line? When is the last time you played hockey? Got it. So when's the last time you played hockey?
It was a weird.
And
like,
Jesse
why
was
would-
like, you sure you want to get into that? What do you mean? And it was 18 years ago. Like what? 2016? Was that even a year? That was so long ago.
It was.
Like what are we do?
It was so pathetic for him to try to be like, well, oh, just because it connects you and me. No, it doesn't. You're not the
connects
only person to have
nothing.
gotten a divorce and now your ex-significant other is with someone else. Like, it's just he can't move through this in any way that resembles like class or whatever. So he says that. And when he said, I had the worst concussion that I ever had.
Yeah.
And I had the choice of like who could pick me up from the hospital. It's like everyone does. This is America. Like you can call whoever you want to get you out of the hospital. You're an adult. He's like, I chose Michelle. Instead of saying like, no, you were desperate to have a reason to call her because you missed her so much. And you thought because you landed in the hospital for some reason that it was appropriate to call your ex-girlfriend for sympathy so that she could like take care of you and fall in love with you again and that you guys could be back together. You manipulated the situation so that you could call. By the way, everyone's done this where it's like, oh my God, I miss that person so much. And I need my Ace of Base CD. And I'm fairly certain that they have it. And it's like, no one even uses CDs anymore. Just download it. But for some reason you think you need so let me reach out to that person. And that's all you did, Jesse, is you use the excuse of your concussion to reach out to her when you had 100 other people that could have picked you up at the hospital.
Yeah.
And that's how you wiggled your way back into her life. And that's why you guys are together. And by the way, I'm not this Team Michelle person that she didn't play a part in it. I'm just saying, own up to the fact that's not how you told the story. Just be like, I really missed her. And when this happened, I was like, well, I could call her. And it turns out that like, that's kind of when we reignited our relationship and really fell in love. That's how America will love you. Not by being like, well, I somehow was able to just call someone. And it's like, you're not smart, dude. The way you're telling these stories is just such a bullshit way. He just annoys the shit out of me.
This whole thing brought a question to my mind
Please.
that I just kind of couldn't help. And I don't even know if I really even care about the answer. So don't anybody dive too deep into this, finding this answer. But it, for the two things, did not know that they had, that they had an 8.5-year relationship. Like that was very poignant news to me. Like that really just, cause like I said, I thought it was much shorter. I thought it was sort of a whirlwind thing. And like, how Michelle could get herself involved with someone that she would find so horrible. And like that's the only way that it made sense to me, that it was like a whirlwind type of situation and a quick pregnancy. So finding out they were together for 8.5 years, and then finding out that he has had like a slew of concussions over the years, like, and I'm going to speak on this, and I could be getting this so wrong, so I'm just going to keep it quick. But like, I know that like, you know, when football players get hit in the head a lot and they start exhibiting like odd behavior that like is not something they had ever done before or whatever have found appropriate in the past before these things, like, I think that we're all still, everyone's trying to figure out like the depth that these head-to-head collisions are having an effect on like the mental and like the capacity of people after they leave the game and whatever. It seems like Jesse has had a handful of pretty serious concussions, and I just wonder if that has had any effect on his brain and his, I don't know, like to split his head completely down the center 2 weeks before his wedding and have to get.
Wait, what? What?
Did you see the after show?
No.
Him and
That's what
Michelle
it
were
was.
drinking.
They were drinking. He was going to go do the worm, and I don't know how that's how it began. I think he lost his balance, or he basically went headfirst into a glass coffee table, and it slit his head open down the middle 2 weeks before the wedding. And then for him to have had what he said is the worst concussion of his life, for them to even like get together, and like had been like, it was a very long, I don't know what a concussion entails, but I'm just curious.
But did he say he's
wondering.
had, no, like he said on the after show that he's had a bunch of concussions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so did Michelle. She was like, I guess he played hockey
'Cause he
pretty
played hockey,
competitively.
yeah.
He wasn't in the NHL, but like he played very competitively is what it sounds like. And
Yeah.
he
I mean, CTE is the thing that you're talking
Yeah.
about. That's a very real thing.
And how long it all takes to kind of start shifting things around or knocking some things around, or just, you know, it made me wonder if like maybe he was a different person, like that's how we've always said that guy has been that guy since day one.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
all
listen,
your baseless
there's-
conspiracy theories, that's actually pretty not, that's
like,
not that
it's
baseless.
just
actually pretty good.
wondering, you
Well,
know. And like I said,
also
nobody needs to go deep dive into like the whole medical field of like how a narcissist becomes to be one, and how if you can, you know, lose your entire personality by too many. I don't know. I'm just saying
But
that ran through my head.
There's also like singular, super gnarly head trauma when you're younger, like Sam Kinison got hit by a car when he was younger, and a lot of people because it wasn't really well researched then, but a lot of people are like, oh no, he went fucking crazy because of this thing.
Yeah.
Roseanne, same thing. She was hit by a car.
I
super
didn't know
young.
either one of them were hit by a car.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Sam Kinison was a car. I know Roseanne was, but like severe head trauma as a child. And so like there's multiple cases of these later on in life people who are maybe off the rails or whatever.
Yeah.
And they all have this similar experience. And then, yeah, CTE is definitely a real thing. I don't know. I don't know.
Just like I said, just
that split down
just
the
a
middle,
little,
like I've ran
thought that
through a
in
glass.
one ear and out the other, really.
That's not necessarily a concussion.
Well, no,
That's
he didn't
just,
say he got a concussion when he had those 14 staples in his head from the glass
and
table.
14 staples isn't even
A lot.
like. Listen,
I don't
that's-
know.
It's not.
But
I mean,
I'm
it's
saying-
not all the way. Like all the way. Like that's.
Well, he passed out.
I'm sure he did.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like 2 weeks before their wedding, she had to call an ambulance to come and take him because this happened. There was blood everywhere, and he passed out.
Listen,
And
I'm
so,
not
like,
trying to be a
saying,
dick, but like
I'm
as a
just
dude
saying.
who's broken many things and has inches and feet of scars on his body,
Yeah.
Any cut on your head or face is going to gush blood like you've just had your head chopped off. Like
Okay.
there's so many veins and capillaries in right in
Yeah.
this area that like it is out of control. 14 staples.
Well, how about this?
Baby
I'm never in the
stuff.
business of standing up for Jesse Lally, but just for clarity's sake, he was just saying he's a little like kooky and has
Yeah.
just done a bunch of stuff, physical stuff that has given him concussions, but he didn't say that gave him a concussion. He's like, no, I just had a lot of concussions from hockey. He's like, and I bumped my head a lot, like this one time when we were
Yeah.
home. So I don't think that's totally off topic. But in better news, now we're at the proposal.
Yeah.
So questions, comments?
I got nothing for it. It was perfect. Like
It was.
I did not believe it ever. The entire time it was happening, I'm like, this is real.
Yeah.
She really has no idea.
Yeah.
She's over there managing her fantasy football team.
How
Like,
great.
Wait,
That's
is that
what she
what
was
she was
sitting there.
doing?
Yes.
She's putting on some makeup, but also like she was talking about how like it's like one of the biggest days of the year for her. Like she takes it really seriously.
Shut
Like
fuck
there are things
up.
that like she did. Like listen, I don't mean like, oh, it's great when women don't take showers, but how often are men waiting around for their girlfriend to take a shower and they don't think she looked any different before or after, you know? The reason that she's late is because she's managing a fantasy football league. Like these are just things that I think like as ding-dongy as Kristen can be, that I'm sure kind of makes Luke like, oh my God, there are some things about her that I think would make her a very easy wife to have, you know?
Only one of them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I got engaged, but I lost out on Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
Son of a bitch. Couldn't have waited 5 minutes, could you, Luke?
Yeah, exactly.
That
Had to
is-
get the friggin' sunset,
Yeah.
honey.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Hilarious.
She genuinely watching her bop around, not
Yeah.
want to take the picture with her bun with half the hair coming out of it,
Yeah.
like couldn't, like, oh, I just feel like hungover, bloated. I don't want to take these pictures.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have 3 minutes for this sunset.
Yeah.
Just get out there,
Yeah.
like sits on the ring. And then when you could see it truly on her face that she was genuinely shocked.
Yeah.
And then when he said, I'm so nervous too,
Yeah.
I thought that was just the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
I've said it a lot this season. I'm really rooting for these
me
two
too.
goofballs.
Yeah, that was super, super sweet. Like I said, or like you said, totally.
Yeah.
I was like totally enthralled, totally in, totally wool pulled over my eye, like
Yeah.
grinning ear to ear, smile, like the whole. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, this is what I'm here for. Give me more of this shit. I need more of this feeling in my life, not the screaming and yelling and craziness.
My favorite part of the whole episode was when she was in her confessional, just saying, like, I am the luckiest girl. Like, this beautiful trip to Maui and the best friends anyone could
Yeah.
ask for. And like, I just love Luke more than anything in the world. And then she's looking down at her hand, just smiling. And she looks up and she just goes, I'm just so happy.
Yeah.
Like, I believe her. I feel like she is in the best season of her life. And
No,
I'm
so do I. So
thrilled
do
for
I.
her.
The whole that entire engagement was so believable, and it was actually like the definition of like the polar opposite of she wore shoulder pads to the beach. She knew she was getting engaged.
yeah. Yeah,
It
no,
really
so-
was, Nat.
Yeah.
Now, I know I said it, but I'm going to make good on it when I said there are moments like in this episode where Jesse is likable when we jump to Luke and Benji like cleaning up the room,
Yeah.
and I died when Luke was like, oh my God, sometimes I just can't with straight men. Because like Luke knew, or Jesse said that, sorry, because
Yeah.
Luke knew that they were going to come and have to pack everything up. So like, don't leave everything everywhere, even if it's just your shit, bro.
Yeah.
But anyway, you see them being the best friends ever, gathering all the stuff to move it into the presidential suite. And then when they see Jesse and they tell him the news, you could tell that like Jesse does love and romance. And it was super cute when he was sitting there and he's like,
It's
no,
true.
This is so crazy.
when he was like, no
How do we see
way.
everything exactly the opposite.
Oh, really? What did you take from
Because
that
you're the
scene?
devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate
No,
right here.
this is gonna be one of the few times everyone agrees with me on Jesse. Jesse is not someone who truly enjoys doing good things for people.
No, I don't think he does.
Jesse
Yeah, no,
is
we didn't
so-
say that. I want to clarify that.
yeah,
We,
we
didn't
didn't
say
say
that.
Then
I
what are you saying?
I think he likes a moment. He loves a
Yeah,
moment.
that's-
He loves to make the
But he
best out
not-
of travel. He loves to make the best out of like,
but
oh,
not
this thing's
for
happening.
any other reason than so that everyone will then say, "Oh, Jesse, I can't believe. Oh, Jesse, you're the best. Oh, Jesse, I can't believe
but did
Jesse
you
thought."
have a nice time? You did. Like that's what I think. It's
Well,
not
hold on.
about a selfless thing. It's about telling the story of the trip and like he will be responsible for like getting those rose petals from people. I want to travel with Jesse. I want to go to somewhere extravagant with Jesse. I want to go to dinner and drink these bottles of wine with Jesse. Like, I think that that's.
But see, here's the thing, because we haven't got like, let's just then get into the rose petals of it all, right? Like, I'm just talking about like when he said they're engaged, you could tell he was genuinely psyched that he proposed to him. It seemed like he was happy for them.
Yeah.
And then he gets into making the moment about himself with the 1,000 hibiscus flowers. And I'm with you completely. I'm just clarifying my side.
Yeah.
I don't think Jesse gives a fuck if those two are engaged or not.
Wow.
He's friends with them, so I think he does.
Is he? Him and Luke almost got in a fist fight last year.
Yeah. Oh, this is a new season.
That's
Why
10
are
years
you
ago.
bringing up
I'm
old
sorry.
shit?
So because Jesse put his hand on Luke's chest and giggled while he said some bullshit in front of the bullshit dude in front of his circle jerk friends that like we're cool now.
Yeah.
No,
keep up with the times.
No, dude.
They're friends now.
He doesn't give a shit. Him and Kristen fucking hate each other.
They don't. They like each other now.
They don't.
They do.
Okay.
They like each other.
Cool. I don't know what I
It
was
doesn't
watching.
matter why. It doesn't matter why, but they do right now.
Don't you remember
but
we
that
were
was all
talking?
a lie. Jesse's a liar. He's not happy about any of that. He's happy that he gets to do something that will make people do exactly what you guys are doing.
Good with the person who's also doing well this season, and like that's what their relationship is based on right now. And here's the thing about this show: no relationships are based on anything good or bad, or like it's all horribleness. And so like there is just you got to celebrate the good times. Like this show is just it's really lowered the bar, well, for what you expect out of friendships. I think.
That, and don't you remember we were saying how you had brought it up. Kristen said that there's someone that she was on like really good terms with when the show started.
Yeah.
And now like they're not speaking at all. And we were like, oh fuck, her and Jesse had a falling out. And I saw, and we came to do the show one night and I was like, guys, I was on Instagram. I saw an interview with him that just had me like rolling my eyes so hard. I was like pulling an ocular muscle.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm reading the comments and I see at the very top, Kristen's like, so proud of you, Jesse. Everyone deserves a chance to like turn it all around, basically.
Yeah.
And so I was like, holy shit, no, they are still friends. Even if it's just for the show and it's an alliance, like.
Yeah, they're having a nice time together right now and we're celebrating that.
Cool.
Okay, but then we get to who we actually know are friends, Britney and Luke and Kristen. And Britney she kind of pulls a Danielle from Summer House, not that big, but like with the proposal stuff, just being like so upset that she wasn't involved in it. And I was actually just, honestly, personally for me, it's just like a nightmare to be involved in things like that.
God,
and
don't
I just
involve
like,
me in anything.
Don't ever lose my number, okay? I've been a bridesmaid 9 times. I don't need to be involved in another moment. I've got them all. I'm all stocked up.
Yeah.
Okay. Go sell crazy somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's always weird to me when chicks get all butthurt about like, I can't believe you didn't confer with me on like what she would want or like make me a part of it. And I was just curious what you guys thought.
It seemed like she's starting to realize, oh, that thing that Luke said a couple episodes ago about this was Jack's show, but not for the last 30 days is really true. And that 30 days is turned into 6 weeks. And we've seen Jack's. And if we don't see Jack's, then what does that mean for me? And hold on, wait, what's that? They're getting to get no one. Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I think that was Britney's way of realizing that she's maybe not needed here too, like that's a bummer.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I do think though there is some piece of the pie here where like our little Kentucky muffin, she does love to throw a party. She loves the theme, getting all the accoutrement, all that stuff. And I actually do think she is the chick that gets her feelings hurt from not being like a part of planning all of this for some reason where it's like, Britney, get over that. You don't need that in your life.
I think she's genuinely bummed because I think that her and Kristen have a genuine long friendship. And I think that when they started this show, I think it was Kristen, Jackson, Britney. I think it was like they were the principal of they were leading this cast somewhere. And I think that without Jax there now, so let me just start by saying, I think that she does truly care about Kristen and that she is bummed just because like they have been so close. And I think it's making Britney kind of think about just like she has spent, from what we've seen on screen, if we're to believe that this is how it goes with them, she has spent a majority of her time with Michelle and Janet. She has seemed more like comfortable, relaxed, and enjoying spending time with them. And so I think that, like I said a minute ago, when they started the show and it was the three of theirs, that's who we were coming to see. Without Jax, Britney is kind of realizing that her spot as that lead is just, this is her first role as like a sole proprietor. Like she's always been in a partnership. And so she would be the reason. Jax would act a fool and Britney would keep the gang together, keep the finances going, keep the household running. And so while she was doing all of that, Jax would be acting a fool, but then she would be cleaning it up and she'd be the reason that Jax said that thing that pissed you off yesterday, but they're having a barbecue today. And I'm going because Britney made funnel cake. Britney made, and so like that was her part of that team. Now I think she's realizing that Kristen is in a true beef with Janet. It's real. It's not like, I feel like Kristen could make up with Shell any day and I wouldn't be shocked by it.
Same.
But with Janet, like it's not going well, bitch. Like it's not things are not looking up. In fact, they're looking even worse than I thought.
Totally.
And so she's realizing that she wasn't involved in this. And I've kind of been out of the loop with, like Zach has said, Britney brought me here, but they asked him straight up, who do you feel closer to, Kristen or Britney? And he was like, I hate that you're asking me this, but if I'm being honest, like Kristen, like Britney brought me to the dance, but like she's kind of just doing her thing. And I've just got this relationship with Kristen. And I think that Zach and Kristen's relationship is like one for the ages. Like, I think it's so good. I think they really get each other. They never seem to get too pissed at each other. Even when one of them does say something that's like acting a goddamn fool, like they both just see it as like, I said that before. Like they really get each other.
And in fairness to Zach, we have seen what he's talking about, like how she went to how Britney went to Janet and said what Zach said.
Yeah.
Like you are giving him the short end of the stick in your friendship, at least for right now.
Yes, she has made some choices that I think right now, this is the first time that I think it's all kind of dawning on her, because I think that when things happen, like I think that in this moment, she has Jax in her ear, not like technically, like not literally, like, because it's not like I think that she's talking to Jax on the side and they're having these conversations still, but you don't spend 10 years with someone and not remember that Jax told you, if we don't go to this party, we're going to get sidelined on this. If we don't show up to this thing, if I don't like cause a ruckus about this, like Jax does know what he's doing on this show. He does now know how the show works. Britney's never really had to make those choices because Jax has always been making them. So now Britney is feeling like, I got sidelined on this. If I look back in retrospect, I've been really caught up with myself, but these two are really doing things. They did this, they did that, and I think she's not feeling like her spot is secure as she did yesterday. You know, so I enjoyed seeing it kind of that dawn on her. But I do believe that Britney was hurt that she wasn't chosen to be a part of something like that, because I think she really gives a shit about like those kinds of events and party planning.
She's one of those girls when someone says like, oh my God, like I'm engaged, she's like, I better be a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
And I'm literally, when people tell me they got engaged, I'm like, oh my God, congratulations, lose my fucking number.
Yeah.
Do not ask me to be in that dress, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
how do you feel about that?
Courtney's
just going to be sitting in the front row with the family?
Oh my God. Of course I would be a bridesmaid for you.
Oh, now you say it.
You have some set of balls talking about a wedding that's never been proposed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you might want to propose first before you come down on this girl. And we all know I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. And so with a goddamn smile on my face, I'm just saying, I happen to be that person that someone has met 3 times and they're like, do you want to be in my wedding?
Yeah.
Like I just have that personality, and because I have no ability to say no, I'm like, I would love to. Anyway, okay, so after this is when we go to Janet and Jason's room. Again, wet blanket of the season, Janet. Two things off the top with this. Number one, Jason sucks at serving tea. Like, when he walks into the rooms, he's like, "Hey guys, so I'm over here. People were talking, Zach, and they're engaged." And I'm like, how is it that hard to walk into a room and be like, "Guys, I just found out Luke and Kristen just got engaged." Like, he can't land a line. He's tried to do this all season with like his big bombshells or like his zingers, and he just can't do it. Anyway, the other thing that was so shocking to me, but not shocking, is Jason and Janet are Android users.
Oh, that is
I
not
just feel like
shocking at all.
that explains a lot of things for me right now.
It's true. Weirdos.
But
Weird.
also the first time we've ever seen Jason kind of get firm with Janet.
I was into that.
It's another realization moment. I've been following your lead, bitch. You said this was the route to take, and now we're not going to dinner. Tomorrow. We're not going tomorrow either. Whoa. Slow it down. Like, this is a big weekend. This is from what I've learned from your log notes. This is a big deal. Might be helpful to be in those photos and be a part of that, because they're going to flash back to this a lot throughout the season. So, like, there's just things that I think that Jason has totally followed Jax's lead and Janet's lead, and he has found himself for the first time very much isolated from the entire group, because they are trying to pull moves as if they have been on a show for more than 5 minutes, and they have not. Kristen can fight. Kristen and Britney could go outside and literally mud wrestle and punch each other and like come back like black eyes and whatever. They will be at the event tomorrow together, and probably be genuinely cool with each other, because they've got the history to make those. It's like a sisterhood. It's like a family. Like, you can hate your sister tonight and you tell her everything you ever thought about her, and the next day show up and it's, we got to go to the same.
She's my best friend. I love her. I'm here for her.
And then like, check out this stupid dick's outfit. You know, like they have that like, and I think that Jason is realizing that he has followed these two morons into the darkness,
into a fool's paradise.
Yeah, and he didn't start off wanting to be a reality star, but I think that Jason has been like,
oh, he's been bit by the bug.
Yeah, he totally has.
Yeah,
and he wants to be back, and this was. There's just so many moments of realization going on that I was so happy to witness throughout this whole episode.
Like when he goes, "No, I booked a ticket for this. This is our vacation." Because as soon as Janet's like, "Oh, this isn't the Janet show, and I don't get to sit at the pool all day drinking pina coladas, complaining about the same shit that I've been complaining about since episode 1 of this season." Like, now the whole trip is ruined. God forbid everyone just gets together and like all communes and has a good time.
Yeah.
And I loved when he goes, "Stop saying that stuff about tomorrow."
Yes.
Like, check yourself before you wreck yourself, girl. Like, get your shit together. Put on a good attitude, a smile on your face. You're in Maui. And I love how she's like, it's the pearl clutching that gets me every time with her, when she goes, "Well, great. Now this is the first time we've ever left our pure baby angel, innocent dumpling-faced child, so that we could be here for the longest vacation ever. And turns out that our poor baby innocent dumpling face angel child is home alone while we are forced with guns to our head and machetes to our necks to celebrate the love that Luke and Kristen have." It's like, you are on the wrong side every time when you are making your decisions for this season.
I loved seeing Jason say to her, or not Jason, Janet saying, "Oh, well then why don't you just go eat with them? So it seems like you want to go eat with them. Like you should just like," and I'm like this is all happened. Like it was just been such a build all year of like watching Jason being like, "We thought you were the smart, pragmatic one that like we could rely on you to like talk some good sense in, but like then we watched you go into the darkness, and now like this is happening, and now she's literally starting this such an obvious fight with you. Like that's such a childish thing to say. "Oh, well, why don't you go to the dinner then? Seems like all you want to do is hang out with Kristen. Why don't you guys come?" Like it was like the equivalent of that. Like,
if you like her so much, why don't you marry her?
Exactly. And I just hope that Jason is realizing like, I bet on the wrong horse and married that horse too. This is a real bummer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and then our last scene of the episodo is just when they come back to the presidential suite and everyone's there with the t-shirts on, which honestly, when they were first talking about the t-shirts, I'm like, I feel like this is going to be really dumb. But then it actually was super cute.
Yeah.
I just think it's like a funny picture that you'll have forever, a funny
Totally.
moment to walk in and see that.
Seeing
And
Jesse in that t-shirt, it's just like Jesse seems to be the guy that would be like, can I get a tailor in here for this t-shirt? Like I need it to be like, but he just threw it on and like shit-eating grin and like it was a nice moment for everyone. I just think they really
Everyone.
course corrected. I really think that
Me
they
too.
like that they decide like saw they heard the people and they're trying to do something about it. And I appreciate that.
girl, they course corrected so well in this episode that I found two genuinely likable moments with Jesse.
Yeah.
Not one, two. Like, and this scene when he's like, oh, because they have to share the presidential suite. And he's like, and not a big deal. We just have to share a shower. But like, I was like, oh my, okay. Like you're in on the joke. You're being jovial about shit. More, if you could be this guy and let all the anger and the other shit go, you'd have a fighting chance of like being a villain that we could really get behind and like.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like Tamara Barney on Real Housewives of Orange County. Like she's done such dark stuff and been really like hard to root for.
Yeah.
But then
I don't root for Tamara Barney. Like she's a staple. She's in it. Like she's not going anywhere. But like God, it is nice when she gets served up sometimes.
But then also like you do see her have moments with her kids and you're like, you're such a good mom. And you see her have like moments with Eddie and like their relationship just seems pretty fantastic as far as like what we're seeing from it. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you're a bit more well-rounded. So when you go after someone and you're right, and even though you're using the wrong argument tactics, I can still back you because I know you're not just making this up and just trying to like prolong something for the views.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I thought this was a real win of an episode for us, guys.
Yeah.
So maybe you could tell Mark that things aren't so bad here anymore.
Dark Mark.
He's around just in case
Oh, great.
Jax comes back and
you
pops
could
off.
relieve him of all of his duties forever.
No.
Should we get into our comments?
Yeah, but I love Benji's kimono.
Who doesn't?
It reminded me of the scene in Best in Show where the dude's packing and he's like, we're staying for 2 days, 2 nights. Okay, so I packed 8 kimonos. I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, he goes, how many tea services can you possibly go to in 2 days? Don't knock it till you. I had 2 Saturday nights on a Thursday night. Don't knock it till you tried it. That shows. That movie's the best. If you haven't seen it, Joe Schmo, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Brittany's little piece of advice to Luke and Kristen: just trust your gut. This mother, of all the things she could have said, like literally,
Because of
all
staying
the
with Jax for this long?
like either that's a lie or you have the worst gut instinct
I
on
think.
planet Earth.
Oh wow, this is so funny. We really do take everything differently because I took it as she knew she should not have walked down that aisle, but she was just like, no, it's so good now and
I
he'll
didn't
change or
think-
whatever. I think her gut instinct was run, girl, and she didn't. And that's why
No, that could be. That
she's
could be
saying like,
something too.
just
yeah.
if you trust your gut, you'll be fine. Take it from me, billboard person, poster child for not trusting your gut.
Okay.
She also.
But you could be right. I would like.
I mean, I'd be with you if she wasn't with that dude for 742 years.
Yeah.
It takes time.
This was
sometimes for
also,
people to learn.
like Britney is on her first trip without her spouse or her boyfriend of that long for this long. We don't really hear her talking about Cruz, but like Cruz is left at home with Jax right now. Like really just like, I thought that Britney had a decent episode. We did see her get a little like about like, and throwing that one comment where she said, I could have decorated this so much better. And then Zach was like, okay, thanks. I schlepped all of this across the Pacific.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. But like, if you are going to let anybody off the hook, and like, there's not much for her to even be on the hook. She was perfectly lovely.
Yeah,
aside
she,
from like
she had a totally
but like she is
nooch
going through a
episode.
really weird moment and finding herself on her first trip of couples everywhere where she doesn't have one. And then for somebody to be getting engaged, she handled it as best as she possibly could for all that.
Totally. And I was also grateful to not hear again about like any texting from. I was so happy all of that was out of the episode.
And if honestly, and this might also just be like a realization of like, it's all comes like your choices do catch up with you. I think that they totally made the right decision of not telling her about it because she could have easily said something to anyone in that group. And those people, whether it's a Janet or a Jax, they would have gone above and beyond to ruin that trip.
Totally.
Jax probably would have called Kristen's ex-boyfriend and been like, I just bought you a first-class ticket to Hawaii. Get out there.
Yes.
Show up at the restaurant. Show up at the luau. Like,
He would have
whatever.
invited Alex. Remember when
That's
he invited
Alex is who I'm talking about.
Yes,
Isn't
yes,
that the
yes.
ex-boyfriend?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, just like that time that he did before. Like it is, he really, listen, Luke could be just deciding that he's trying to usher in the new leads of the show. He could be thinking that by not inviting Britney because he really wants Danny and Nia, and they've got this alliance now. So he could be doing that because he's wizened up to like just how this whole thing works. Or he could have truly been like, I cannot tell Britney. We have watched her time and time again tell Jax every single thing and have no we can't trust her that she's ever really not talking to him anymore, or
Correct.
totally done with him. So I think that it was the best move ever because that engagement went off without a hitch.
Luke couldn't have planned it better. He
No.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, all the
you invited the right
decisions.
people. You let the
Yeah.
right people in. You can completely trust Zach and Benji,
Yeah.
Nia and Danny, and go with God.
Yeah, agreed. There's a real power shift this episode. It
Here
solidified
for
a lot.
it.
Yeah, it's all we've wanted.
Who wants to do
Okay.
commies first? Nat always likes to go last. So Mark, you want to go first?
This is Palava Girl. I love both Mark and Mike. I feel like I'm watching my favorite dysfunctional reality shows. Go figure. I appreciate all three of you, stellar job ladies, holding the fort because even as a man, Mike has feelings too. Alter ego Mark. Thank
More
you.
feelings than most women, I think.
Very
I can
true.
attest.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to just acknowledge Mark's feelings and acknowledge that you guys held down the fort while Mark stormed off, and I was
you.
golfing because no one told me we were filming. And then this is also Palava Girl. Just a shout out for watching AGT. I
Oh,
got her to watch
yeah.
AGT, and she said she really
is
liked
so
it.
sweet.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm showing that to my bosses. Nettie, I can feel bad for Danny too and want to shake him so he gets off TV because he and Nia deserve better. But then the bullies win. Nettie always coming with the like for me. Makes me like Danny more for his ability to ride the storms of fakery, abuse, and scapegoating. Yeah, dude, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, dude, the bullies can't win.
I leave it to Nettie to convince Mike of what we've been trying to convince him of for weeks.
Well, she says it better. And then also,
she
Well,
does.
agreed.
Yeah, listen,
no one's
there's-
arguing that.
Than me. I'll take 4 hours to explain
there's
it.
another Nettie one that she said something where I was like, oh my God, I never even thought of this thing like that. And it totally changed how I will think about this forever. I'll get to it. Carly. This one's Carly. My take on Jesse and Michelle is that I don't think he cares this much that Michelle kissed a guy. I think he knows he did far more wrong in the marriage, and she's got the upper hand when it comes to that. Therefore, he's holding this particular wrong over her head because it's the worst she's done. Not all guys are... Oh, I didn't mean to read this last part, but I'm going to read it anyways because it's true. Not all guys are made like you, Mike. That's me. I'm Mike.
You didn't mean to do it.
I didn't. I just wanted that
Tripped
because I had a... No, whatever.
No. I had that comment saved also. I thought it was a great comment.
Yeah, it's a good comment.
And I agree.
The best,
agree
the
with
last
Carly.
part too. I said it before. It's so nice to hear a man be so faithful to his mate, but I just think he's a vengeful man. Not me, Jesse. Yeah, I'm faithful to my mate. That's my mate.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carly. Tanya Bluebell. Notice how sheepish Janet was in the pool in Maui when she gave the fake apology. One more indicator that she's envious of Nia. I predict the apology will be short-lived. Her fragile ego will strike again.
Mm-hmm.
She has to destroy her beautiful competition. So
Agreed.
True. So true. Nicheless Boomer. Pretty funny name. OMG, the circle jerk was completely cringe, and I too love therapy stuff, but this didn't resonate. I couldn't believe nobody cracked up. I couldn't believe none of us clocked that like
I think we did. I think we said like
That no
this.
one
It
laughed?
seemed like I would be like I would keel over laughing. Like
okay.
like
Yeah,
it almost
I
seems like
felt
they would
he
have had
was-
they cut it out. There's
Yeah,
no way that
there's no
nobody
way.
laughed
There's
during that whole
no
thing.
way.
There's just no way.
Just Jade. I think with Janet, she had no storyline last season because she was pregnant. So now she wants to be a main character and go against Kristen and Zach, who will bite back, but she's too stupid to keep up with them. She's so thirsty for attention. She is vile. which is so true. And it always it added to my like, oh no, this is the fight's been scheduled. This is all the bullshit that happens before the fight. You got to build the fight and sell the pay-per-views, and that's what they're doing.
She is so dumb that she didn't realize that like those seasons are a gift. They buy you so much, like
The pregnancy season? Yes.
She really should have milked that and then come into this season with, just like I always say, just having those like, you guys see, this is crazy, right? Like just having that come to Jesus moment, like in her confessionals, to like let us know like these things are going on. This is crazy. But she just got too into everything. She didn't take that season for what it was and build on it. She took it as I'm being put out right now because of course I would finally get my show the year that I'm pregnant. That's why you got a show, Janet, is because you are married in the valley down the street from Britney and Jackson. You are pregnant.
Yeah.
That's what the show was supposed to be. Young couples starting families in the valley, all in their little cul-de-sac circles and whatever. So she didn't recognize that. And all she thought of was, I should be out there slaying, but I'm here and have to be in these stupid mom pants and whatever. And so, yeah, she's trying to overcompensate for that this year. And it was just wrong move. But you got to be grateful that she made it.
Plus, Zach wanted to murder her baby last year. Don't forget about that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect lead into this next comment.
Oh, great.
Oh, good.
By Karen Ayers.
Okay.
You guys are overthinking the Janet thing. All caps. She's not a good person. She's evil. The end.
But she's also very much out for herself to get to display something.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's evil, but also, you know, I think that's oversimplifying it. She's also found herself on a show and she's trying to take it over and you know, knock people out and whatever. I guess that could be the same thing as being evil.
Sounds
but
pretty evil to me.
Listen, we get into the weeds here. We overthink things. We overthink everything.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
Kind of our jam.
We never get out of the weeds. It's where we live.
This is the other one from Nettie that just, I never thought of this like this, and now it's going to just make me rethink everything. And it's really the last sentence, but I'll read the whole thing. There isn't a known narcissist gene. Narcs are created. I've heard it said, if you spoil your kids too much, they can develop narcissistic tendencies. And like autism, there is a broad spectrum. You can be high or low on the spectrum. I've always envisioned a spectrum as horizontal and never vertical. So you could be high or low. You're just either to one side or the other.
Well, no, but also like if you're low on the spectrum, it's to the left. If you're high, it's to the right. Usually, like when they're giving you like medical results and stuff.
Not in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, there's the Kinsey scale.
Right, but I've never seen it as a
scales out
high
there.
or a low. Just a left or right, like this side or that side,
Okay.
or in the middle. So just something that, like, that's one of the things I love about the comments, like we did with Jen O'Toole, is that every once in a while I'll get a comment, or I'll read a comment that like I never thought about, or just changes the way I think about things that don't really pertain to these shows. I like that. This, I'm sure we all three had this one, so I'm so glad I went first because it's so fucking funny. Love the T24. It was so great to see you guys back to normal. I'm relatively new, so I was so uncomfortable last week.
So were we.
That makes three of us. Not Mark, though, for some reason.
I was
Doesn't
so
make him
uncomfortable,
Mark.
I left. You guys stayed. I am glad I crossed my fingers and watched again. Great episode. Thank you, Love the Tea, for coming back. I do apologize for making you so uncomfortable. Hopefully that won't happen again. D Trace, we had some questions about narcissists last week and just learning about it and doing research and whatnot. So this is a little bit on that. D Trace, learn all you need to know about narcissistic personality disorders here on YouTube with the expert Dr. Ramani, who explains this disorder in a practical manner. NPD is not a disease. It is a personality type. This is why it is incurable. It would be the same as asking you to change your personality. It is an extremely fascinating subject. So Dr. Ramani, Ramani on the YouTubes, if you guys are curious about Jesse and Jax. I'm kidding. Teacher B, who we haven't heard from Teacher B in a minute. But this is Teacher B. Not me 1 minute in going back to watch my missed episode last week. Whoops. Never worry, Mike. We got you. Thanks, Teach. Appreciate that. This is Roden A. Waldman.
I would think it's Rodina Waldman.
Rodina.
But I don't know.
Oh, it could
I'm
be
mildly
Rodina
dyslexic, so don't
Waldman.
ask me. I said Carlite and still do,
Yeah,
Carlite.
exactly.
I want to tell Carlite that like I want to read every one of your comments, but they're so nice, and I can't get those words to come out of my mouth on here. But just know that you're everything to me.
Yeah, Carlite's
She's
real
the best.
OG.
Yeah.
Rodina. I kind of like Rodina now. I just like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with that. Rodina Waldman. Actually, I had a blog many years ago called "The Deep Side of Shallow," which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Good title.
We watched that. We were subscribers to that blog, and so how do you think we got here?
Yeah. Mia Taylor. I think her and I might be the only ones who feel this way, but I'm going to shout us out. Mia Taylor. It was weird to me too for some reason. I think people are entitled as hell when they order before me. In regards to Danny ordering before Nia. It's weird. And then I read this one already. This was Heather Pike. I know it sounds crazy, but the Jackson Janet getting together to not crazy. Shannon Fall. Janet taking magic lessons is so on brand. Maybe for her next trick, she could make her narcissism disappear. And then a lot of comments, replies to that. Maybe not the narcissism, but just Janet as a whole.
Yeah, I think that when I read it, I did what you did, where I read it as herself.
Yeah,
and then I was like, no, that should just be it. Like, just make your way on out, little dog.
Yep.
Yeah. There were so many comments this week. Another Shannon Fall. I really love this one. Bear with me. I'm wondering if Janet used the whole "sorry I drank too much" excuse during her apology to Nia for the trashy restaurant behavior to try and prove a point to Nia. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I think in Janet's mind, she was super mean to Nia and then apologized like Danny does when he has a drunk moment. Janet is banking on Nia staying upset with her after the apology so that Janet can throw it in Nina's face later on like, I don't understand why you're so upset, Nia. I apologize just like Danny does when he drinks too much and messes up. So if you want us to forgive him, then I guess you better forgive me too.
Yeah. I don't think she actively was doing it, but I think that she will use that to her advantage.
I see. I think going back and watching it and clocking her now, I think that was a full blown.
Oh, you think she got drunk specifically so that she could be out of line and then
I don't even
use
think
that
she was
later.
drunk. Go back and watch the scene when she was like, "Oh, this." There was 2 sips gone from her margarita. So unless she was like a 2 margarita, like I don't even think she was drunk.
No,
because everybody else was like,
I'm 1,000% convinced now that is what happened. She was not drunk.
No, dude.
Nobody was.
No.
Like, no, she wanted to do all of those things.
Even Aaron made a joke about it. Can you tell me like what happened? Like, oh, I know the drinks were real heavy. Like he was like, oh fuck, are you talking? Like,
how did
nobody
that
else
even
was that
happen?
wasted.
And
Janet's never been that wasted. And Janet's the one pressing Danny in the closet, so how on earth would you even have the balls to get that wasted?
Yeah, and then come out right away and use it as your excuse.
Yeah.
Well, I was just really drunk. Like, it was so planned. Oh my god, I can't believe like when I read that comment, like that totally made sense to me. But now it's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I felt the same way.
Wait, there was one more thing about that. When they're at the pool, and Michelle says, just as Aaron says, what even happened? I guess the drinks were strong, but like, how did it even get that dark? How did it even like go so sideways that quickly? Michelle says like, she was upset because, or not, she's talking about Kristen. Kristen was upset because she was trying to have a conversation with me, but you were yelling at her. So it was like everybody there kind of clocked that. Because even at the dinner, Britney goes, come on, Janet.
Even Jasmine said something too.
Yeah, and Jasmine did too.
Either
like
in her
everybody
or something at
this
dinner.
See, Janet, you fucking moron. You're such a donkey. Like you're ruining this whole thing for yourself. Like you're making these plans. Like I really feel like you strategized you made a blueprint for like how this night is going to go. It played out the way that you wanted it to, but it didn't produce the reward. So Does that make sense? Like it went the way, like you got to do the thing. You got to say, oh, I got drunk. That's why I said it. You got to yell at Kristen from across the table and say that she doesn't like to be held accountable. You know what? Kristen doesn't like to be held accountable. We've all kind of thought that. But the way that you did everything totally takes all of like the shine off of like what you're trying to point the light on. And we're all just looking at you because you're acting like such a fool. So that's good. Great. Keep on doing it. If you're going to try to plot everything out, then thank God you are a horrible executor.
Rebecca Krakow. The J names have all got to go. Jax, Janet, and Jason, and Jesse, and Jeremiah. That dude should be fired so hardcore. Yeah, the J's are ruining it for everyone. Rebecca, you and us and the whole world.
Yeah.
Harris, thank you, Jenna O'Toole and Mike. That's me. For saying you're needy until your needs are met. I'm seriously going to say it in every episode. We're going to be doing shows like 20 years from now and be like, one time we had a viewer. Today's my 29th birthday. Happy belated, Harris. And it's what I needed to hear today and what I hope to remember when I think of past, present, and future relationships. Love you guys. Love you back. Love you, Jen. Again, you people will seem needy until their needs are met. It's changing my mind on everyone I've ever hated before. I'm kidding. RKNRL girl, something like that. Mike reminds me of my brothers back in the 80s when we all had to share TV and my sister and I would be watching something and my bros had no patience for what we were watching, which would then start a TV war.
Yep.
Good times. I didn't have sisters, but I had all my friends had sisters, so I know that story so well. It brought me straight back to my childhood.
And by the way, you don't need just sisters because I had one sister and one brother, and it's a gender neutral argument. You just fight because you wanted the TV.
Yeah, this is true.
That big old box with no remote.
All right. I have just the last three here that are all super funny. Mark Stormout, and I read these to him, so he already knows. Joe Schmo, my fave dude. I'm hip to your little temper tantrum ploy, so we hang on to every word these show hosts say, just waiting for you to reappear. Biggest cliffhanger ever. Of course, Joe Schmo would know what I was doing. The best part, it was such a Bravo move, you don't even know. Mom Janet cracks me up, and baby poop mischievous giggles are the best because I was like saying that I love it when the kid gets to that age. Joe Schmo, super funny. Johnny smiles. Mark and Mike need to hug it out like Tiger and Daddy, aka Danny. And last one, I'm sorry for all the people, but this wins the calm down Mark comments. Leela Heathers. Calm down, Mark. This isn't a Housewives reunion stage where stormouts are the reoccurring theme.
This is an audition tape.
Yeah, that
this is
shit
going on is
made me
real.
laugh for so fucking
love
long.
that one.
Touche to you. Good comments. Good comments.
Yeah.
So good. We had a lot of the same ones. So if I don't have a lot, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the comments crumble.
Great minds.
This sounds so heady that I'm saying this, but I'm saying it anyway because it's
I
fun.
am shocked and appalled.
Yeah. Tanya Bluebell. Thanks, girl. Courtney, you are the one who deserves a hair campaign. Paige has nothing on you. And I just think Paige has such shiny, beautiful hair that I couldn't believe that. Thank you so much. And not to brag, but when I was a youngin' and I was modeling, I did have a Salon Selectives hair campaign.
Did everyone see Courtney's Kohl's commercial that I posted in the community post? I don't think I feel like I did it at a weird time and it didn't get a lot of views. So like if you haven't seen that, go check it out.
Yeah, I couldn't even
I
find
always
it.
remember your American Airlines commercial.
American Airlines.
I was never in an American.
No, you were Delta. You were in the airline one.
No,
It was
cars.
like a big one. No, you were
I did
on a
lots of
plane.
No.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
I was in a Dos Equis
Courtney's
commercial
done
with the most
so
inch.
much commercials.
No,
and
I really
acting
did do
that
a lot of commercial work.
She can't even remember.
I really miss those days where you would just show up to your mailbox and there would be all those checks. Wow. Okay.
Mailbox money.
Jen, it really was mailbox money. Jen O'Toole said, I feel officially part of the family now. I'm blushing. Welcome to the fam, girl. Mike, sorry, she actually used your real name. You are so right about Kristen changing because her needs are being met now by Luke. I think this is also what happened to Stassi on VPR when she met Bo, and I totally agree with all of that. Truth for Peace wrote, Scott, the therapist, tells Jesse to scream into his pillow 3 times to get out his frustrations. This kind of therapy reminds me of The Simpsons, maybe season 1. When they did family therapy together and the therapist had them beat each other with metal wands inside foam, which eventually fell off to get their family aggression out on each other in a healthy way. And I thought, LOL, same. Mary Aika said, Courtney, your mom, the story about her reminds me of Nia. She's had really hard things happen to her in her life and she chooses to have joy and not dwell on it. That is admirable and so refreshing because so many people can easily choose to get down in the muckety muck and be miserable. And I think it's part of the reason why we just love Nia so much, because I think it is so much tougher to have really horrible things happen to you and choose joy than it is to just be like, fuck it, everything's terrible, the world is miserable, and I'm never gonna win.
And choose not to ruin everyone else's lives around you.
Yep.
Yeah. That's that's all Bravo shows us, that those people are out there all day, every which way.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
This is a long one from Jen O'Toole, but I thought it was fantastic. It says, read Janet. First, Courtney, you are so right about Janet being the pearl clutcher and projecting that onto Nia. I had not seen that before, and now it's so obvious. Now, perhaps a hot take. So we've established that Luke meets Kristen's needs, which allows her to self-reflect on her behavior when she acts out because he's totally honest with her. She can quickly calm down and reset and be authentic in her apologies when necessary, which I totally agree. Her apologies land so much differently now. She needs that honest, tough, non-judgmental love that Luke gives her. In the relationship between Janet and Jason, the vibe is different. Jason knows Janet's bad behavior is bad, but he is not honest with her about it. He listens and either says nothing or he validates her, which amps her up even more. He's a beta, and the only reason I think he tolerates her is because she is the one who has ever been able to tolerate his penchant for vanilla sex. And now we've said it, which is from Beverly Hills Housewives. And I actually think like they do have this weird dynamic going on that's maybe not as healthy as Luke and Kristen's, if not that I'm comparing the two, but anyway. I loved this. Oh, this is so funny. I had this one circled from the other day to read, and you just said that you could never read Carlitz because it sounded, you didn't want to say it, but I will say it because I thought it was so sweet. Natalie, for whatever reason, you look so pretty when your hair is up and in those headbands. You always look so put together and pretty. And thank you for all the hard work you put into making my favorite showcast. Just saying thank you. First of all, thank you. That was the sweetest message. And I tell you all the time, you have the cutest ponytail in the history of ponytails, and I just want us to be heard.
It's been heard, and I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Well. Anyway, Coca said Mark After Dark, which I just had me crying. I thought that was so good. Dark Mark and Mark After Dark might need to be merch at some point.
Coca, I feel like there's maybe 3 or 4 things that were like, no, that like the Never Wester shirt, like that was something that we really loved. Like Mark After Dark, that is going on something 1000%.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get the trademark from
It'll
Christina.
just be like his silhouette. It'll just be like a black shadow.
No, it should just be me storming out.
It should just be someone getting out of a chair.
That's a big graphic.
XXL.
Oh no, it should just be an empty chair because he left it.
Oh yeah.
And that just says Mark After Dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Marianne Shepard said Janet going after Nia is like seeing someone hurt a bunny. Not acceptable and so upsetting. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Just don't do it, man. Joanne Greco. The Joanne Greco. I love the Valley because it's authentic. I'd love them to have some fun so it's not so dark. Hopefully Mike has changed his mind about Craig. I know that he has had temper tantrums too. And I think Mark came around on Craig a while ago, which is great.
Yeah.
And Joanne, I'm actually so curious to hear from you. Hopefully you're seeing this because this was a lighter episode with some levity. So I'm curious, do you think this was the reset that we all think it was? Yeah. And did it scratch the itch that you were looking for? Because it did for me.
Yeah.
Nettie goes, we all got to worry we're dumb because we're actually watching The Valley.
Yeah.
Because she says she's losing brain cells and apparently we all are. Nicheless Boomer said, great observation on what a different, slightly younger man brings. Luke is so involved with his partner. Maybe younger men are a good idea. And I just thought that was, I really, like when I got that, I was like, that's a That is a good point, Cord. You mentioned that. So thank you for seeing that. And then there was one. Oh, this was Heather Sapphire. In relation to your talk about someone saying you're too much, my brother always tells me I talk too fast. And one day I said back, maybe you just talk too slow. And for someone whose entire family thinks they're too much, you are perfect. And maybe you're just too much for them, but not for me.
Not for me.
As Jen O'Toole has taught us.
Or I told her maybe her brother listens too slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this episode was so light and airy and lovely and fluffy and all the goodness, we didn't have a lot of talk about our need for Party of Schwartz because we always are, we need Schwartz to bring in the light. And I almost missed this because I think it was in comments from last week, but we have a new addition to Party of Schwartz.
Yes.
Linda Coate, welcome to the party. Just because we weren't all, clawing for Schwartz this week doesn't mean that
Could
that
you
the
imagine how
movement doesn't
adorable
continue.
he'd be in Maui?
Oh my God. I wish that he would have been a part of that photo wearing that T-shirt.
I know.
That's a prime time Schwartz moment.
We were robbed.
Yeah, he probably would have brought a plant. He would have got those flowers taken care of. Jesse's on the phone. When the after show, we learned that the flower he was trying to get is actually all over the island. Schwartz would have been out there with a little basket picking those things.
Picking those petals.
So the party continues. But welcome, Linda. Happy to have you. Okay. A Fave says, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Either Sheena, Lala, or even Jeremiah is in the ears of people like Janet or Jesse telling them how to create a scene or how to push plot forward, and they are messing up this show big time. When everybody is authentically themselves, it's a good show. This creating drama for drama's sake is killing the show.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. It's killing us, and it's causing stormouts.
And I replied to
it's a health hazard around here.
I replied, it's probably Jeremiah because it sucks so bad.
Yeah,
It's
who's
gotta
the
be
common
him.
denominator?
Those other three are probably better producers than this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Christmas Jones says, Jack and Karen should have been the leads of the show. Yes. I live, laugh, love, Will and Grace. Happy to hear it referenced. And I know that you got to have, to like the... I'm gonna
Straight
say,
guy.
I literally, that's why I was like, didn't say it right then because I'm like, is there another word? Because clearly Will is not straight, but like you have to have those
down
like
the
straight
middle,
character
yeah.
down the middle to hold the show, and then you get the other two. But that's not my personality. I would watch Jack and Karen all day long. I would leave reruns of it on in my earbuds just to hear. Like they to me are just brilliant, genius, perfection. All the good shit of life. Like they figured it all out.
Denied, approved.
Els by Creative says, I think Mike is onto something. This is the second time he said something different and it's not landed, but then the following week he's dead on. The whole Danny thing, he clocked it and it's only now we are seeing it unfold. I love listening to you guys for an alternative take. I'm more like the ladies, but when Mike gives a different view, it's great. You guys are great. Okay, hold on. What did you clock about Danny?
Just go on to the next one.
He didn't even remember.
No, I do. It's that there might be a problem. That
We've all said that.
that there might be an alcohol problem.
Yes.
Every person has said no one's denying that he has a relationship with alcohol that he needs to look at.
Yeah, it just needs to be.
Apparently,
reviewed.
everyone denied it. I'm the only one that said it.
We just didn't know why they were coming down on him so hard.
When there was a literal person that had just walked out of rehab or whatever, or a dark
another
room with a
person who
phone
just
camera.
called his ex-wife a whore.
Yeah, all of it. So
Sounds like a little backtracking going on right now.
no,
what?
God.
Gas-
Play
my
the
God. The only reason I
Gaslit
read this is
backtracking.
because I thought it was funny that you didn't read it because you love finding that. I
Well,
agree
don't
with Mike.
whine
Because
about.
I didn't want to get you guys all in a tizzy because you get so mad when everyone
now
agrees
you've
with
tizzed
me.
And we
Yeah.
can't control our
Yeah.
emotions.
I know.
Exactly.
What's that
Yeah.
like?
You'll be storming off.
Harris says, all I ask for our show, Nat, is that the original singer of both VPR and the Summer House theme songs creates a brand new theme song for our show. She raised a generation. Can I just tell you, I never realized that Summer House had a song.
Oh yeah.
Still...
It's not working 9 to 5, but it's like na 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 won't stop. And nothing.
When does
Living
it play?
the fast life from sunset to sunrise.
What the fuck are you talking about?
This is the
The only song
they
is on
play it
Southern
still?
Charm.
taking over.
Oh my God. I didn't
He's
even realize.
got money He's in
The
magazines.
magazines.
He's got more honeys than any honeybee.
Dude, is it weird that I'm like looking forward to Southern Charm? Like I kind of can't wait for that to happen.
Licking the boot that
Listen,
kicks
I'm
you.
even missing a little Southern hospitality. And that show
I'm
kind
not
of sucks.
missing that. Listen, I'll watch it. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't. I'm just bored.
I'm going to be real busy for the next 3 weeks, you guys. I got 5 hours of TV to watch.
Oh, I thought you meant because your show's going into live shows soon.
Oh, well. So 3 weeks, the tour started today, Tour de France. That's 5 hours a day for the next 21 of the next 23 days. And then right when it ends, into production, live shows, AGT, Palava Girl, that one's for you. Whew. Yeah, busy 10 weeks coming up. Should we do a recap on the Tour de France?
Oh my God, I was just waiting for you to say that. Yes.
Do it.
Harry says, wasn't El Coyote the last place Sharon Tate went to right before she died? El Coyote is iconic.
But
It
also,
is
the
iconic.
next place, Hugo's, that was where, for real, isn't that where what's-her-face and her husband, when he, in the back of the dumpster?
Wait, what are you talking about? I eat at Hugo's all the time. I'm eating there tomorrow.
I think Hugo's is where Robert Blake killed his wife. Weren't they at Hugo's that
No.
night that she got shot?
Maybe.
That's what happens. Give up meat.
It's not
That
a
was real
vegan
sad.
restaurant.
Yeah, no, Hugo's isn't vegan.
It actually started as a butcher.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not
That's
know that.
why
Well,
they're-
Harris worked there.
Harris worked at Hugo's?
Yeah, he worked at Hugo's.
Probably not when. What's her
Wait,
name got
when?
shot.
Because I literally, the whole staff of Hugo's came to my one-woman show. Wow. We got to talk, Harris. It's my favorite restaurant in LA. I'm obsessed with Hugo's. Always have been. How crazy was that docuseries? I killed them all. Did I kill him? I killed them all.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see the Robert Blake documentary?
Nah.
You need to watch it. He outs himself. He gets through trials.
No, that's a different one. Robert Blake was an actor who killed his wife behind a restaurant.
I'm thinking of Robert. It doesn't matter. It's a
Yeah.
different. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jeanette Allen says, I think you are brilliant. I loved it. Best podcast. I love the honesty. I don't think it's as much as the program. It's the fact that there's people like this on the planet. You have hit the nail on the head. So produced. Thank you all. Janet from England.
Was that your
Can we
Australian
do that
accent?
again? Yeah, like
Wasn't
what the
that
shit?
on the side of British or was that
Yeah, it was.
Australian?
No, it was so much better than your Australian accent.
Oh, I don't know what the Australian accent is. So
So I
that's
go, I'm
probably
just kidding.
unhelpful.
I'm just kidding. No, that was so cute. I loved that. I love knowing that there's people in other countries.
I know,
Right,
and I
we are
really
full global.
enjoyed reading it back only with the accent.
We got Britishes.
We got Britishes.
You sound like
South,
We got
South Africans,
Canados,
Canadians,
Canadians.
Australians, Kiwis, Moroccoians.
You sound like Phoebe in Friends when she is speaking with a British accent.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's where I learned it from.
Yeah.
Phoebes.
Phoebes.
Yeah.
Tell your friend Phoebes.
That's how you do it.
Thanks, Mike.
Shannon Falls says, do we think Snooki gets a cut of money every time Britney says, party's here, when she enters a situation solo? It's been like 2 or 3 times this season. I hope that they just do a barter system and Snooki just says a lot of rotten hail and then they're even.
Party's here.
Party's here.
Carry on, Nat.
And Tanya Bluebell says, raise your hand if you skip the men's group therapy. I did not want to see Danny grovel to Tiger. No, not ever. Tiger and his wife need to do the apologizing. I think we all said that. We were like, that's why I keep referring to these scenes as like an acid trip where I'm like, is this, who's apologizing here? Like, this is so strange. I'm going to close out with Truth for Peace, but there's 2 on here. And one, she says, I have to tell you about a Schwartz story that may or may not pertain to you all. For some reason, YouTube is censoring the comment, and she asks, like, where can I just email this? And I have literally replied with it multiple times, and it keeps censoring me.
I had that randomly on something that like Carlite had said something so sweet. And I was literally just like, thank you so much, XOXO. And it was blocking me from posting it. So I don't know if it's sensitive in nature or sometimes you just get the short end of the stick with posting.
Yeah. So I DM'd you on TikTok and you said that didn't go through either. But I think that you have to, since we're not friends on TikTok, you have to, what's it called me?
Follow me.
Well, or approve. It'll say like, oh, requested message. Because when I sent it, it said, we have sent this person a request to let you message them. So Truth for Peace, please accept my request. I won't spam you with nudes or anything all the time. Just his nudes.
You
Just
don't want
Minnie's
that.
nudes.
Yeah, minis.
Yeah, anyways, it's info@nowtofightent.com if you just want to send the email to that too. But that's what I've tried to
Oh yeah, that
respond with.
works. We could
I've tried to respond with it. It won't let it be. Okay. Anyway. Okay, closing it out with truth. Da, 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 da. Natalie, when you were telling us that you have a lot of similarities with Kristen, it got me thinking about who I see myself in within this cast of characters. I see parts of myself in Lala. We're both prickly pears, spiky outer layer to protect the delicate inside. She's a wannabe gangsta. I was a wannabe hippie. She waves her finger guns in the air and aims them at her enemy. I stand on the end of my driveway, firing my water gun at random cars that go by. Although I am aware that we are currently living in a timeline where that's not the best pastime, so I squirt at my own risk. She drinks milk from a baby bottle to fall asleep at night, and I sleep in a custom-built adult baby crib. I want to love Lala. She just makes it so damn hard. The part about the crib was a lie. P.S. I said a prayer for you that you find peace within your heart after losing both of your dads this year. From my experience, it helps to talk about the people I grieve. Maybe you could tell us a little someday about both of these great men in your life. A little dedication section. Listen.
I love that idea.
I think I have said that. I didn't even mean to read this last part, but I didn't have time to do my
funny.
twisty turns.
When I don't mean to read the last part, I get
but
shit
you
on.
always read
But
the last
here,
part, and the
listen.
first part, and the middle part. So we
Because
know
they're
that's
all the
a
best
lie.
parts. But what you could do right now, because someone else asked about it, I can't remember on what episode, is talk about the rings. That you had all the
Yeah,
championship
actually,
rings
someone
on.
was saying, "What's the deal with the rings?"
Well, they're just rings from you play a sport, you win, and you get a ring.
Well, that's if you
Jesus
win.
Christ,
These are
dude.
massive.
These are national
Yeah.
championship rings. So Natalie's biological father, Stan Abel, won a national championship as a wrestler at OU. He then went to two times.
If we're getting into specifics.
Yeah,
So
now
we're
she
doing
wants to
this.
talk about
Somebody
it.
woke
No,
up.
but
Yeah,
listen, he's right
seriously.
here, and this Courtney put him in this little
A
angel.
little
Yeah.
rose quartz
She
angel.
shoved him in there,
Yeah.
and he's listening to you right now. And
I did feel
he
a
would
little
not
full Nelson
appreciate-
as I was saying that. 2 national championships as an athlete wrestler. That's one of those 3 rings is one of those. He then went back as a coach, won another national championship as a coach. Then Eric, her stepdad, who recently passed away, he won a national championship at OU as a wrestler.
No, at OSU.
OSU as a wrestler. And then Stan recruited him. In hindsight, probably not the best idea because that's how he ended up as her stepdad. But we'll get into that later. That'll be on the Ask Me Anything segment. Stan recruited Eric to come be assistant coach with him, and those motherfuckers won another championship at OU as coaches. And then Eric, I think he was also an Olympic. He made the Olympic team. Is that right?
Yeah, and then he busted his knee.
Yeah, busted his knee. Stories all the time.
He
But
was training for the Olympics and busted his knee.
those 3 rings are only 3 of many. There's like many others.
I feel like people just keep finding them. And my stepmom was like, "Oh, here's some."
Yeah, here's some
Like,
from
that's
another
how I got
national
those 2.
championship.
She'll probably stumble across a few more.
Yeah.
But just so you know how epic Stan was, I was in Costa Rica, okay, and I met a complete stranger and just started having a conversation with them because that's what I do. And
Shocking.
he had calves like a tree trunk, and I was just like, "How do you get calves like that?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a wrestler," and I get it. I know that the world is big, okay? But I will be that person to say, like, do you by any chance know who Stan Abel is? And he looks at me and he goes, not only do I know him, but he recruited me to wrestle at OU. And he just had the fondest memories of your dad and was like, this guy was the biggest badass in wrestling. And yeah, so
He was great.
Double down on that. For those of you who are new here for the first time and still here 2 hours later, I work in television, and I used to work for Blizzard. They're a video game company, and I produced all their live video game tournaments, championships and whatever. And you get people from all over that work on these shows. And we were, I can't remember where, I guess Anaheim at BlizzCon. And we're there for a couple weeks setting up, filming, whatever. So we stayed in a hotel, and then everyone goes to work, and then everyone meets at the hotel bar afterwards and gets wasted and has a lot of fun. I swear to God, I'm at the bar once, and one of the graphics ladies, I'd never met this lady in my life, first time on this show, and we're talking, I don't even remember how it came about. But we get to the point where I'm like, oh, my girlfriend grew up in Oklahoma, and she's like, where? I'm like, oh, Norman, and she's like, oh, I grew up in such and such. I'm like, oh, I don't know where that is. And then somehow I'm like, oh yeah, Stan Abel's is her dad, and this lady straight up was like, okay, dude. And I was like,
It's like
what?
my
Okay,
favorite thing
dude.
that's ever happened to you at work.
Yeah, I'm like,
working
what
on
do
a
you mean?
show that's like packed with
Oh,
celebrities.
like legit,
that this lady couldn't
full
believe
blown.
that you.
Yeah, she laughed in my face. She was like, okay. I'm like, okay, what? She's like, your girlfriend's dad is Stan Abel's the wrestling coach? Yeah, right. And I'm like, no, I swear to God, Natalie, that's her dad. Like I was fucking dating Tom Cruise. I swear to God, it was. This lady was over the moon. She would not shut up for the next 20 minutes. How amazing Stan was. How he's the best fucking coach of all. How OU would never be the same without Stan. It like on and on and on and on. That's Natalie's fucking dad. 2 of them. She got 2.
Yep.
You know what else is funny? I thought earlier. It seems like Natalie grew up with 2 dads. She did have a mom, so it's not like a Modern Family type situation.
Yeah, she knows how to pick them.
Yeah, totally.
When you hear the pick a winner.
Yeah, Gina
she
picks
took
some
that to the
fucking
next
winners.
level.
Yeah, she's like, I got you. Let's fucking go. So that's a little bit about Natalie, a little bit about her dads, and how badass they both were and are, and all the damn rings that they got, all their jewelry.
Yeah, this is Hall of Fame ring.
Oh God, and
Oh,
there's
I didn't
that
know
Hall of Fame
that.
too.
See, this is why we talk about
Jesus.
these things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real hot in here.
It is getting hot.
Well,
Hey, wait, are we
thank you,
done?
everyone.
yeah, we did
That's
it.
real nice.
Like and
Yeah.
subscribe.
Like and
Yeah, like and
subscribe.
Send it to a friend.
Send us some snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to sponsor us?
We need some snacks. All right.
Snicky snack.
Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Toodles.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Guys, we did so great.
We didn't do that good.
It's not 4 hours. We've gotten into the heavy into the threes.
No, seriously.
The people like it.